CFAX Victoria, an iHeartRadio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning, 6 o'clock on this Friday, August 28th. Looking at mostly sunny start, but clouds rolling in as the day goes on. Highs of 21. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment, but right now, let's say good morning to Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. The BC Wildfire Update has 208 fires burning in the province. That's about 10 more than we had yesterday. 95 of those are considered out of control, which is also a jump. 40 new starts in the last 24 hours. There are 18 fires burning on Vancouver Island. Most are north of Campbell River. There are 3 considered out of control. The BC province of BC has ended the provincial state of emergency slightly early. The one was imposed 3 weeks ago on August 8th.
The state of emergency had previously been scheduled to end on Saturday, but the government says it lifted the declaration early on the advice of emergency officials. A statement from the Emergency Management Ministry says the declaration was imposed to make emergency powers and other tools available quickly, but fortunately they weren't needed. The cancellation of the declaration has no effect on evacuation orders and alerts, which remain in place across BC. The state of provincial emergency was declared hours after the Bold Range wildfire forced residents of West Okanagan Lake to flee, with more than 20,000 people evacuating their homes. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
The Coastal Fire Centre, which includes Vancouver Island, is scaling back on one of its fire season restrictions. Effective today, the partial off-road vehicle prohibition will be rescinded. Officials say conditions have improved, but they're still asking you to be vigilant and follow all wildfire prevention regulations if you're engaging in any kind of activity that could spark a fire. The campfire ban does remain in place. That may not be lifted until Halloween, sooner if we get more rain in the forecast. The BC Conservatives did not manage to get through a full day yesterday without a resignation. Abbotsford South, Bruce Banman, a one-time leadership candidate, says he's leaving caucus to sit as an independent. Banman says person to person has informed him that the new leader, Carrie Lynn Finlay, is unelectable. He adds that the Conservative tent needs to be bigger, not smaller. 10 days till school resumes for most kids in BC, or is it 11? I'm losing count here, but September 8th for most kids anyways, next Tuesday. A new Leger study by the Fraser Institute finds almost 99% of grade 6 through 12 teachers in this province believe some of their students use AI to complete their homework. Teachers believe that of those students, 52% say it's for inappropriate use. 49% believe that more than half of their students are using it as a learning aid or a crutch, and nearly 80% of BC teachers think their critical thinking skills for students has declined in the last 5 years as a result. Yet 74% of responding BC teachers say they use AI weekly in their teaching. This out of the Fraser Institute, the latest study. The collapse of trade talks with the U.S. has added urgency to reducing trade barriers within Canada, but experts say this is not a simple fix. Corinne Pullman of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says there's been progress on accepting standards from other provinces, but there's still snags in practical use.
Unfortunately, it now gets into more of the nitty-gritty detail side of things and actually looking at how each province is actually operating on the ground. That's the harder work of it.
Federal and provincial trade officials met this week to push forward a range of fronts, including better acceptance of services across the provinces. Well, this morning, Stats Canada is set to publish the new gross domestic product figures for June and the second quarter overall.
Economists are expecting fresh data will show growth rebounded sharply in the second quarter of 2026. Both the Reuters poll of economists and RBC economists believe GDP will top 3% for the second quarter as the economy bounced back from some temporary drags on growth in the previous 3 months. Statistics Canada reported back in May that real GDP declined slightly in the first quarter, fueling debates over whether a recession had hit the economy. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
Those numbers now in. Stats Canada says real gross domestic product rose at a healthy rate of 3.3% on an annualized basis in the second quarter. The agency also revised its initial GDP estimates for the first quarter of the year from slightly negative to positive, quashing suggestions that a technical recession has hit the Canadian economy. Authorities say roughly 1,000 people, including 25 Canadians, remain missing after the flash floods hit Nepal and China. Most of us now have watched that terrible footage that has come out of the region. of a glacier giving way. Nepal's National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority says the death toll has risen to 538, but it could be much higher. The International Red Cross estimates 93,000 people have been affected in some way, and there's a great need in the area. A spokesperson for the agency told reporters that some areas are still inaccessible, maybe by helicopter, but it's not yet possible to complete initial assessments as a result. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Anita Anand, and Global Affairs Canada are working closely with their counterparts in those countries to find missing Canadians and help in the regions that are hit by the flash floods. And that's your news, 2605. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. How much do you use artificial intelligence to answer general questions? 17% say often, 43% rarely, and 39% never do. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:07.
Thanks, Lisa, and good morning. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday morning. We got 14 degrees right now in Victoria with a somewhat clear start to the sky. Did you see, by the way, the moon last night?
Wasn't that beautiful?
I caught a bit of the eclipse. I didn't catch the peak moment of it, the lunar eclipse.
Good for you.
But I caught a bit of it.
Okay. What time was that at?
I think the peak of it, I could be mistaken, was something like 9:12 or somewhere just after 9.
Ryan was up late.
I was, for me, up very late. Gathered the family around,
Good.
caught a bit of it.
That's
Like, hey,
great.
go, look at this! Look at the space.
Did the boys like it?
They were like, yeah. Hey, Dad.
It's hard to impress, teen boys.
My video games are waiting for me. Why am I doing this? I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And the moon was gorgeous.
It was really gorgeous. And even this morning, I know the lunar eclipse is all over, but a really bright, nice moon if you catch it this morning. Although sunrise is coming. 6:25 is the official
It's later
sunrise.
and later.
Gets later and later right now. More on the weather coming up. Right now to the sports. Hey, Victoria Royals in the WHL officially hitting the ice today to begin their 2026 training camp. Fans will get their first look at the likes of Dallas Stars prospect and defending WHL gold champion Cameron Schmidt, who joined the Royals via blockbuster trade after racking up 51 goals and 100 points last season. Also newly acquired veteran forward Savin Verk is in camp after a recent trade with Tri-City Americans. Players for today, they're doing like that scrimmage where they'll have a round-robin tournament at the Save on Foods Memorial Center. They've split the players into two squads, and over the course of the day, starting around 10 this morning, they're going to start playing these practice games. For baseball, we were having some fun yesterday as we talked about Toronto Blue Jays player Nathan Lucas, who had a great game 2 nights ago now, and the Victoria Harbour Cats were letting us know, hey, just a reminder, he's a former Victoria Harbour Cat who's gone on to the big leagues, now playing with the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, kind of fun. Later in the day, we learned that the Harbour Cats have celebrated another major player move into the MLB. Reliever Nathan Mueller officially signed a professional contract with the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday. In baseball last night, the Toronto Blue Jays are right back at it, hosting the Seattle Mariners for the opening of a 3-game series. Toronto lost 13-2 last night in its series finale against Kansas City and sits 3.5 games back of the American League wild card spot. Dylan Cease expected to be on the mound for the Jays tonight. And that is your CFAX Sports 2609. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now, Scene Plus members save 40% off fresh BC boneless, skinless chicken breasts, but that offer ends Wednesday. Over to the CFAX Dead City traffic. Pretty clear roads right now. No crashes, no major delays out there. We will have some more road work to tell you about. This time, it's Cook Street, Hillside to Kings. That stretch of Hillside, just down the hill there. It's southbound. They're going to have the road closed for electrical work. It's from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., so this won't be a thing during the main peak of the commute. But a little later this morning, starting at 9, that's southbound Hillside, southbound Cook Street from Hillside to Kings.
Not a pleasant time on Cook Street.
Yeah, because Cook Street has been experiencing a little bit of ongoing construction.
Oh, you think?
Just a little bit over the summer.
Oh, really? We hadn't noticed.
Yeah, because you commute Cook Street quite often, don't you?
It's just, and the thing is, it looks great. It looks much better.
Yeah.
The bike lanes are in and everything, whether you like bike lanes or not. It's the road is now glossy, but just the having to wait to go, and it's not the construction crews. They're doing their level best, as we like to say. It's just one more thing, right? So winter's coming. That means we may not have construction, right?
Yeah,
Maybe?
exactly. Summer construction season is soon over. Silver linings all over the place. Speaking of the weather, it's certainly not fall weather yet. It's a mainly sunny day today to start. Clouds rolling in as the afternoon comes in, and then we will get a high of about 21 degrees. A little cooler by the water. Tonight, mainly cloudy, lows to 11. Then another fairly pleasant weekend. We're going to cool off just a little bit, but Saturday is a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 18. Sunday is a cloudy day with a high of 18 as well. Bit of sunshine coming for Monday, but then maybe some showers into next week. Actually, funny enough, September 1st is next Tuesday, is coming Tuesday, I should say.
Oh, my gosh. Already?
That's September 1st, and
Wow.
that's the day the rain arrives, maybe.
Oh.
It's getting long range. I don't know if I'm completely going to hold my breath, but...
Well, when you say things, they tend to manifest, so now we're paying attention.
Although yesterday I said there was a risk of a thunderstorm.
true, you
and
did, actually.
Guess what didn't happen?
It didn't happen here, but I did see the crowd. There were some pretty dark clouds over
Yep.
some areas.
They went somewhere, just not Victoria, I guess.
Let other communities have it.
with any luck, none of that today. Just
Send it across the one if you go straight.
a mainly sunny day today. Nothing exciting. North American stock market's opening up a little later this hour, so let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Rob Westgate.
Despite the ongoing trade war tensions with the U.S., Bay Street performed pretty well on Thursday. Toronto's S&P TSX gained 21 points, closing at 36,834. That was after rebounding from an earlier decline. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 106 points, while the Nasdaq rose 411. Asian markets were almost all in the green this morning, with Japan's Nikkei finishing up 274 points, while the Hang Seng in Hong Kong closed up a meager 19 points. Experts say the intensifying trade war between Canada and the U.S. could permanently alter cross-border trade. Meanwhile, the U.S. has withdrawn demands that Canada shelve French language protections as part of any future trade talks, and Canada's seafood industry is sighing with relief after Ottawa canceled tariffs on imports of American fish and seafood. As for the loonie, it's trading at 72.17 cents U.S. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Rob Westgate.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Thanks so much for joining us here on CFAX and making this a part of your day. And maybe you're joining us because you've got your ticket and you are ready for the Mega Summer Kids Count 50-50 draw, which is happening today, Lisa.
Yes. And it's sold out, which we're very happy about.
At the end of the show yesterday, we sold out all of the tickets, which means this is the biggest the prize could possibly have been, a $50,000 jackpot with $25,000 of that, half of that, 50% of that, going to a winner who will be drawn in less than an hour now.
I've heard from a lot of people who really think they're going to win.
Yeah.
And so I'm rooting for all of you.
Me too.
I've had a lot of people who are on vacation with a time change saying, I might wake up for the phone call, but I'll be there for you. It's like, okay, thank you for doing that. It's kind of cute, actually, because everyone's quite invested. And if you bought a ticket, thank you so much for supporting the charity.
Yes, because the other half goes to CFAX Santa's Anonymous and their Kids Count program.
That's right. And you're going to get $25,000, which, wow, that is a heck of a good chunk of cash. And did not Christine say that it was not subject to taxes? Is that right?
Correct. Yes, because you're in Canada.
So,
Yay, Canada.
we know there's a reason to live in Canada right there. So, yes. So it's going to go to a BCer, which we're happy about too.
Yeah.
We just don't know who. So just after 7 o'clock news.
Yeah, so here's how it's going to go just real quick because I know people are curious. You'll read the news at 7. Then we're going to do the draw. We will get the name, and then we'll announce the name, and you've won. We're going to try to call you, but you don't
pick up the phone.
You don't have to. You
No,
still
you
won.
should pick up the phone.
You should pick up the
You
phone.
should talk to us because you're excited. We want to hear from you.
But don't worry if you don't get the call right away. You've still won it.
Right. We're not going to go to the next caller.
We're not
is
going to the next caller. Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure people are not panicking about that.
No.
Because
You still won.
well, we
even
do
if
want to
don't
talk
pick
to
up
you.
the phone.
So
Yeah.
if you buy your phone, we'll put you on the radio,
Correct.
and we would love to hear how it feels to win $25,000 in the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. The draw coming up right after the 7 o'clock news.
Nice.
All right, now it's 6:16. Time for the headlines with Lisa.
Big PD is sharing information about that home invasion on Wednesday night. Happened around 7:20. They were called to a home on Belton Avenue. GVERT teams called out as well. Police say they initiated tactical deployments due to concerns that some inside the house may have been armed. The situation was eventually resolved, but police say the investigation is ongoing, but they're thanking the public for steering clear of that area while this was ongoing and thanking residents in the area for sheltering in place. Kind of tense moments on Belton Street on Wednesday. A BC legislature member who gave the Conservative official party status when he crossed the floor in 2023 has now left the caucus to sit as an independent. This is a common refrain throughout this week and this month. Bruce Bandman, who represents the riding of Abbotsford South, is now the 6th Conservative MLA to defect this month alone under the leadership of Carrie Lynn Finlay. He says in a statement that numerous people have informed him that he believes Finlay, who does not currently have a seat in the legislature, is, quote, unelectable. Bandman says he was joining other MLAs who've chosen to sit as independents. He's encouraging fellow legislators, regardless of political affiliation, to join him. President Trump says Lake Ontario is officially now known as Lake America in America. Trump signed an executive order in the Oval Office yesterday saying the name change goes into effect immediately. The president says this country has been treating the U.S. poorly and said that the country, our country, acts like it's a U.S. state. Well, the name Lake Ontario comes from the Wendat word, Ontario, which appropriately means the lake is beautiful, the lake is big. It's more than 400 years old, predating both Confederation and Canada and Declaration of Independence in the U.S. Mark Carney, this is all his words. He says he knows America's changing their trading relationship, foreign policies, and national monuments and their hydronyms. But Canadians also know that naming a reality means calling it Lake Ontario, then, now, and always. Mark Carney making a pretty solid statement about all this last night. And a Canadian public policy expert believes a period of deepening ties between this country and the U.S. may have passed its zenith and headed for a structural shift amid the intensifying trade war. The University of Toronto's Drew Fagan says there will be a lasting change and that the permanence isn't just due to the tariffs that were imposed. He suggests it's also a change in mentality and the U.S., that it's more protectionist and more nationalist. Fagan adds that although the U.S. is close with deep cultural ties, some opportunities are being lost. Yeah. And that is your news to 6:20.
Traffic and weather check next. CFAX Mornings are brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local, Canadian-owned and run since 1946. No crashes, no incidents on the roads right now. Things are looking pretty clear. You can text me at 71010 if you see otherwise. For the weather forecast today, right now we got 14 degrees at the airport. That's the official temperature. It's going to be mainly sunny to start, but we are seeing a few clouds out there. They're going to build up, and we're going to get a little overcast later today into the afternoon. Highs of 21. Mainly cloudy tonight, lows to 11, but then tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, highs of 18. Maybe overcast again for Sunday, highs of 18. Clearing up a bit on Monday with some sunshine, temperatures around 20 degrees, but then by Tuesday night, maybe into some showers. We're going to watch that. It's in the long-range forecast. We'll see if it comes to pass. Right now, like I said, 14 degrees at the airport is the official temperature, but in downtown Victoria, it's 15.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, what a week it has been for trade news and politics all around the Canada-U.S. situation. And funny enough, exactly a week ago at this very time, we were on the eve of maybe a trade deal, we thought. Some other alternate reality where we did not rename Lake Ontario. That's where we were. That's where our heads were at a week ago. At this moment, when we spoke to Kelly Geraldine Malone, Canadian Press Washington correspondent, who was filling us in on the details then. So we thought we'd get her back here now a week later and sort of reflect on what a direction we went instead. Great to get you here. How are you doing today?
You know what? I am doing okay. I'm probably doing better than I was Saturday last week when I was existing on no sleep after a long week. And then this week was another unrelenting week of news. So I'm ready for this weekend, and hopefully nothing else gets renamed.
Yeah. So you're there at Washington D.C. covering this, and I remember you telling us that you were kind of hopeful. I'm so glad that there's probably a trade deal by tonight. This is a week ago, and this can all be over, and we can all rest as reporters. And clearly that didn't happen. Man, I would love to hear your perspective on what it was like to be a reporter in Washington D.C. trying to cover all this. As you've already mentioned, busy, but talk about how the week went for you.
Well, I would love to be a fly on the wall in that negotiating room. Unfortunately, I was with a handful of other journalists roasting in the sun and the humidity outside. But since trade talks broke down, I can actually tell you a little bit about that day because, I was outside the United States Trade Representative's office. We were waiting. And kind of the deal is that, if Jameson Greer, the USTR, leaves, then Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc, he also leaves. So, we got a quick heads up that LeBlanc was on his way out and Greer came out a side door. LeBlanc left, not saying anything. And that was kind of maybe the first sign because this is 7:00 p.m. on the Friday. They're leaving, but Canadian negotiators and American negotiators are still there. And then around, I think it was, now my brain is turning to mush, but I think around 11:30 p.m., a few of us were brought into a White House briefing with a senior Trump administration official. There was a little nice intro, and then it was like, there's no trade deal. And I just messaged my editor being like, no trade deal, breaking news. Get this out. But, they didn't give us a whole lot of information in that about what exactly broke down. But the White House official told us that Canada was, adding things to the deal in the last minute. At that point, he didn't really say specifics, wasn't optimistic about, talks obviously continuing on Saturday. By the time I finished work, it was almost 2 a.m., woke up early Saturday, and then obviously Prime Minister Mark Carney came out, and he made the case that the United States added last-minute additions, ones that would be unacceptable to Canada, including, things around French language and online streaming services. And said he was going to retaliate. This week has obviously been on Tuesday, Carney's government laying out what the retaliation would look like, a war of words between Donald Trump and Ontario Premier Doug Ford. But behind the scenes, I've been able to gather a little bit about what actually went down. And there's been fantastic reporting from Bloomberg and New York Times as well. And really what it was, for me, which I have had confirmed by the USTR, is the tariffs on heavy-duty trucks were a major contentious point. So the United States was willing to lower tariffs on autos, not to the extent that Canada would like, and I think we spoke about how it wouldn't be acceptable to Doug Ford, but was willing to lower them, but was unwilling to budge on your medium heavy duty trucks. So these are semis, these are your big trucks with, whatever, 6 wheels, like all the wheels. I'm not a car
The big ones. The big ones. Yeah.
Big trucks. But we're unwilling to move on that. One of the things that I suspect is obviously on Wednesday, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was pulled in. So Greer and LeBlanc have a really good relationship. Greer's a longtime trade lawyer. He'd been on this file kind of during the first Trump administration, helped to negotiate the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement on trade. And they were working kind of on the nitty-gritty details. Lutnick, if you remember him, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, very involved in the Gordie Howe Bridge debacle.
Yeah.
He comes in on Wednesday. He starts having separate conversations with Prime Minister Mark Carney. I'm not 100% sure what was said in those conversations, but the Canadian messaging is, the Trump administration wasn't aligned. So Lutnick and Greer weren't aligned. So who knows what Greer was really requesting of Carney. But he certainly didn't like the deal as it was. And he was pushing back, saying that the U.S. needed to take a harder line. So, it sounds a little like both sides are telling a bit of the same story, that things started to go off track after Lutnick's intervention on Wednesday, and they were just unable to come to an agreement. And I think maybe there were some words that were thrown around, maybe around French language, that the U.S. didn't think would be a big deal that turned out to be a big deal to the Canadians. So, things broke down, and now we're dealing with Lake America.
Yeah, so that's where we've gotten to from last week where we spoke to now. That's sort of what's picking through the ashes of the fire here, of what burned down. But here's what we're almost out of time, but I want to ask a question of you. And I really like getting this perspective because you are there in Washington, D.C. And when you're at work, you're, of course, surrounded by this. But beyond that, how much of a deal is this being made in the United States? Because here in Canada, of course, it's top story news everywhere you go. All the, the news programs, the talk shows, the newspapers, whatever it is you look at, this is the front and center. It's Donald Trump, with his map and his Sharpie renaming the lake. It's all of these things in front of everybody. What's it like in the U.S.? Are Americans aware of this? Are they following it? Or is this another one of those situations where there's just too much else going on down there and it's not making an impact? I don't know. What's your take on that?
It's been a shift. So I was at home. I'm from Saskatchewan, so I was visiting family in Saskatchewan at the end of July. And one of the things I was telling them is I was like, these negotiations aren't making a ripple in American media. Like when I was leaving, I would be talking to people at the airport and being like, what a bad time as a Canadian to take a vacation because these negotiations just started. And they were like, what negotiations? This has changed things. I think in the way that it escalated, in the way that Carney came out on Saturday, that was covered heavily all weekend in American news. And as I go around, even when I was going into the White House the other day, the Secret Service guy saw my badge and it says, the Canadian Press on it. And he's like, ooh, must be a tough week for you. Which, this has made a ripple. It's top news story even on Fox News this week. And obviously, the Lake of America or Lake America stuff has gotten a mixed reaction, but it was top news. There's even Republicans who are like, this is a distraction when we have everything going on. And obviously Democrats are pushing hard back against it. But it's maybe the first time in this kind of U.S.-Canada dust-up of the last year and a half that I've seen Americans watching this closely.
They're now paying attention. Interesting. Okay, Kelly Geraldine Malone, Canadian Press, Washington correspondent. Great to get your take from the scene of it all. I'll let you go, though, and let you get back to your morning. But thank you so much for this.
Always great to talk to you.
All right, we got the 6:30 news next on CFAX.
Jade's Pet Rescue on CFAX 1070.
Hey, it's Jade, and I love fur babies. Who's a good doggy? Who's a good doggy? Which is why we're bringing you Jade's Pet Rescue. Whether your dwelling lacks a doggo or your crib needs a kitty, we're teaming up with the BCSPCA to play matchmaker. Let's find our new four-legged friends some forever homes. Keep an eye on our socials for the next pet up for adoption.
Jade's Pet Rescue is powered by Galaxy Motors. More info at CFAX1070.com.
CFAX Victoria, an iHeartRadio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning, 6:32 on this Friday, August the 28th. 14 degrees right now. A partially cloudy start. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
The BC Wildfire Update has 208 fires burning in the province. That's up 10 or so from yesterday. 95 are considered out of control. 40 new starts in just the last day. There's 18 fires burning on Vancouver Island. Most are north of Campbell River in that region in the wilderness in the center of the island, including 3 others that are considered out of control. Now, BC is ending the provincial state of emergency that was imposed nearly 3 weeks ago on August 8th. The Coastal Fire Centre, that includes Vancouver Island, is scaling back one of its fire season restrictions. That partial off-road vehicle ban lifts today, but the campfire ban remains in place. Officials say if you're heading out into the wilderness, it's still dry and it's going to be warm this weekend, so be careful with your fire use. Well, you won't see it on the map on your smartphone this morning, but at least in Donald Trump's eyes, the renaming of Lake Ontario to Lake America is now a done deal for him. What was first a taunt or a threat took it to the next level as Trump issued an executive order to change the name of the waterway, despite the order not having any impact here in Canada and the rest of the world of what the lake would be called. CTV's Abigail Beeman with the details.
We filed all the necessary papers, documents, everything else. We notified all of the various people that we have to notify.
The president took the opportunity to bash Canada.
The Canadian officials have treated us very badly. They're nasty people.
Over and over.
Canada's been ripping us off for a long time on trade.
And over again.
Who's the worst to deal with on trade? And I said, that's easy. Canada. They are the worst to trade, and they feel entitled.
And reminded everyone of his promise to double tariffs January 1st.
We're going to be doing tariffs on their cars that are coming in at a substantial level because we want to make the cars here.
Swift reaction from pretty much every Canadian out there, including Prime Minister Mark Carney, who took to social media saying the name of the Lake Ontario has been in place for more than 400 years, and it's never going to change. Well, so far, there's also little hope that the trade spat we have with the U.S. is going to simmer down either. The collapse of trade talks with the U.S. has added urgency to reducing trade barrier within the provinces, but experts say this won't be a simple fix. Corrine Pullman of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says there's been progress on the movement of goods, but there's still there's still issues like provinces doubling charging for alcohol.
If we're really going to take it seriously to become sort of one economy across the country, we really have to start looking at some of these things more closely.
Estimates on the long-term benefits of removing provincial trade barriers range from 1% to 7% boost to the GDP. A music publisher Canada CEO Margaret McGuffin says the organization frequently hears from songwriters and publishers who discover their music has appeared in AI training data sets. In June, an investigation published by The Atlantic found 4 giant databases containing more than 21 million music tracks that had circulated among AI developers as training material for creating AI models. Grammy-winning Canadian roots artist Alison Russell calls it high-tech theft.
They're learning from without consent, right, from everything that's out there, and then trying to imitate it. I think the abuses of consent are so rampant with it that, like, however it evolves, we need guardrails, we need legal guardrails.
Russell herself has had 40 of her songs appear in the Atlantic's database of music identified as AI training data sets. That's your news to 6:36. Today's CFAX 1070 news poll, we're asking how much to use artificial intelligence or AI to answer general questions. 17% say often, 43% rarely, and 39% say they never touch it yet. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time, 6:38.
Thanks, Lisa. It's 14 degrees right now, heading towards a high of 21 eventually. Full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports, where we've got some hockey going on locally. It's just training camp stuff, but neat to see the Victoria Royals back in action, hitting the ice today to begin their 2026 training camp. Fans will get the first look at the likes of Dallas Stars prospect and defending WHL goal champion Cameron Schmidt, who joined Victoria via a blockbuster trade deal after racking up 51 goals, 100 points last season, and also newly acquired veteran forward Savin Verk, also in camp after a recent trade with the Tri-City Americans. Yes, so Victoria Royals training camp at the Save on Food Center going on today starting around 10 o'clock. Victoria Harbour Cats made a big celebration yesterday of one of their players getting signed by one of the big league teams. The Milwaukee Brewers have signed a professional contract with Nathan Mueller, the hard-throwing right-handed reliever with the Victoria Harbour Cats. Speaking of baseball, Toronto Blue Jays starter Spencer Arrighetti lasted 4 innings in Toronto's 13-2 loss to Kansas City. He says he was hoping for more out of his start.
Obviously, would like to give the team more of a chance when we're in a push like we are. Feel like I didn't really do that tonight, and that'll be my goal the next time out.
And with that, Toronto missed an opportunity to gain ground in the American League playoff race. The Blue Jays fell 3.5 games behind the Cleveland Guardians, who hold the third wild card spot. By the way, Toronto Blue Jays right back at it tonight. They're hosting the Seattle Mariners for the opener of a 3-game series. 2 teams often near and dear to the hearts of folks here in Victoria. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports. It's 6:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. For the traffic and weather, nothing really much going on right now. Things are looking fairly clear. No crashes, no other incidents of note, and the volume delays are light so far from the West Shore into Victoria. We do have some construction starting at 9 this morning. Cook Street southbound, a full closure of southbound on Cook Street from Finlayson. Scratch that. From Hillside to Kings. It's that block we're now looking at there. They were doing other work earlier this week at that other location. So watch out for that. Later, though, 9 o'clock onwards, it won't be through the main part of the commute. And for the weather forecast today, mainly sunny for the start, but we're going to be clouding over as the day goes on. Highs will hit about 21 degrees. Mainly cloudy tonight, lows to 11. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, highs of 18. More on the cloudy side on Sunday with a high of 18. And then a mix of sun and cloud for Monday, high of 20. We do see some showers in our long-range forecast showing up somewhere around Tuesday evening. That seems to be the change. By the way, Tuesday happens to be September 1st, just saying. Right now, 14 degrees. On the markets, opening bells just ringing for North American stock markets, but here's a quick look at how things closed off yesterday. S&P TSX was up 20 points to 36,834. The Dow was up 105 to 53,569. NASDAQ up 411 to 26,541. Canadian dollar at 72.2 cents U.S. in overseas trading. And Statistics Canada just this morning letting us know that Canada's economy grew 3.3%. annualized in quarter 2. That's the fresh StatsCan data just out this morning. Some economic growth to start the day.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, we're counting down the minutes now to the big draw. The Kids Count Make Us Ever 50-50 winner will be drawn at 7 this morning.
Yeah, 20 minutes to wait.
Yeah, just after Lisa reads that 7 o'clock news.
I'll try to read fast.
Yeah, don't make us wait any longer. At the end of the show yesterday, we sold out all the tickets, which means we hit the maximum amount of $50,000 for this jackpot, with half going to the winner, half going to, of course, our favorite charity, CFAX Santa's Anonymous, and their Kids Count program helping kids in the greater Victoria area all year round, beyond Christmas.
Yeah, which is big.
So that's coming up. If you've got your ticket, just get ready. Here, let's all gather around, and we're going to
gather around the fire, gather around the microphone,
gather around,
and we'll chat about it. And hopefully you're the winner.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Like we've been talking about, we've never done this before.
No.
This is a first for us, a big, radio station-wide 50-50 raffle. In fact, it's not even this radio station alone. We've been doing this with our partners at 107.3 Virgin Radio and, of course, CTV Vancouver Island, where, maybe you're watching us right there, right now. Hello to our CTV Vancouver Island crowd.
We're all on board here.
And we're going to be broadcasting this draw on all of those stations, which I'm very excited about. So that's coming up pretty soon.
And our IT people are nervous about. Hey.
Let's make it all work.
How are we going to do this?
At 6:45, let's get a look at the headlines. Here's Lisa.
The death toll from the Nepal flood has risen to over 500 now. There's still 25 Canadians missing. That wall of water tore through the Nepal mountain town on Wednesday, killing hundreds. Authorities say just over 1,000 are still missing. The U.S. president says they're sending aid to Nepal, and also Anita Anand, our federal representative, says that Foreign Affairs is deeply involved with the counterparts in that country, trying to determine how we can help, and also looking for the Canadians that are missing. BC Assembly First Nations Regional Chief Terry Teague says that the petition launched by the BC Conservative legislator to repeal DRIPA is, quote, racist rhetoric. TG's comments come after Conservative MLA Harman Bangu launched the petition saying the Indigenous law threatens private property rights. The legislation is designed to affirm the application of the UN recognition of Indigenous rights into BC laws and has become a flashpoint for opposition critics. TG says First Nations have said that DRIPA does not affect private property rights and calls the petition fear-mongering, urging people not to sign it. The International Monetary Fund estimates that removing international trade barriers could cost Canada's real gross domestic product upwards of 7%. Could boost it, though, about $210 billion over the long term, although CIBC puts out a less optimistic figure in March of a potential 1% boost to the GDP, noting that it would still be helpful and very worth pursuing. Federal and provincial ministers have been meeting in Iqaluit this week to try to advance a single Canadian economy and work on removing those barriers. Ahead of the meeting, Internal Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc says while progress has already been made, there's much more to do as the U.S. fundamentally changes its approach to trade on a weekly basis. That's your news to 6:47.
Thank you, Lisa. Hey, another thing that's going on I should mention is, of course, Greek Fest is starting today.
Yes.
I'm going to be heading down there.
Are they going to feed you? Because that's worth the price of admission right there.
That's the why you go.
That's why you're going.
To get fed.
You're getting food.
But I'll also be checking things out, letting you know what it's like. I'll be appearing on the afternoon show with Jade, and I believe Morgana is in for Josh today.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Morgana's been doing such a great job. She was hosting the afternoon show the last couple of days. I just want to publicly congratulate her on a couple of days with Koch Cadden.
Stepping in.
Jumping in on the show, having great conversations right here on CFAX 1070. It's been fantastic. But anyways, Greek Fest, that's what I'm talking about. Heading down there today. If you want to come find me, I'll be wandering around, checking out the food down at the scene later today. And this is only the first of 2 weekends, because, of course, they've split this into 2 weekends. They start today and go through this weekend down by where the Commonwealth Pool is, Commonwealth Place. In Saanich. That's where this will be this weekend.
You need some space for the Opus.
Yeah, and then again next weekend. So you got 2 weekends of doing this.
Nice.
You can check out one or the other or both.
What's your go-to food?
I'm a bit of a... This might sound really simple.
Maybe not.
But I really like the potatoes.
Okay,
I know that
there's
sounds silly.
something. What do they roast them with?
I've been told, people have texted me before at 71010 when I bring this up
Because there's lemon involved.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of lemon.
That helps.
And it's probably a lot of butter and salt.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
But I think it's something to do with the lemon and how it's, staged, like at what
Greek
stage
lemons.
it's soaked in it. Yeah.
Okay.
And the rice, too. They do the rice kind of the same way.
That's true, actually. That's very delicious.
I'm just a very simple man who likes my rice and potatoes.
You can have your potatoes.
Yeah. Greek Fest, it's coming up tonight and for all this weekend and next weekend.
You've heard the chaos. Now you can see it. Oh my God. Watch all your favorite podcasts from start to finish right inside the free iHeartRadio app. Gets the blood going up. Catch every laugh and eye roll on shows like the Tom Green Farmcast and Park the Bus. Now with full video. We're building a ramp for Tony Hawk. It's the same hosts and the same chemistry with all the hilarious moments you've been missing right on your screen. Cheers. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search video podcasts, and tap watch.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now, Scene Plus members save 40% off fresh BC boneless, skinless chicken breasts, but that offer ends on Wednesday. In traffic and weather, no major incidents right now. The volume delays are starting to pick up a little bit on the Trans-Canada Highway, but it's mostly just folks slowing down through the construction zone where they are widening the highway for the bus lanes. The usual thing. For BC ferries, let's check in there. Haven't done a BC ferry check-in yet so far this morning. No sailing waits, but Fridays are often busy. Oh, wait, it just ticked over. My apologies. It is a one sail wait at 7. That one did fill up, and now the 8 o'clock sailing is your next available vessel. And looking ahead, because sometimes this is helpful, we do have fairly heavy reservations throughout the day, at least until the evening. So we might see a few more sailing waits as the day goes on. For the weather forecast, it is a mainly sunny one today to start, but the clouds are rolling in a little later this afternoon. It'll be breezy off the Juan de Fuca Strait at times. Highs of 21, a little cooler by the breezy water. Mainly cloudy tonight, lows to 11. Then tomorrow we start our weekend on Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud, high of 18. A little cloudier for Sunday, high of 18. Monday, it looks like we get back to a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 20. And then on Tuesday, which happens to be the first day of September, we do have a small chance of showers creeping into the long-range forecast, but we'll see how that goes as we get closer to.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, it's so exciting. We're a hive of excitement here, because we are getting ready to do the draw for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. Lisa, here's an experience we usually have in the morning.
Yes.
We come into the radio station, and we're like the only ones here,
That's
other
true.
than our sister station.
Nice and quiet.
And then, we finish our show, and everybody rolls into work to do all the office jobs. But no, today there's people here. There's
There's a hub,
activity.
right?
Because we got to do this draw. Christine Goodsir. I'll get there one day. Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX as Anonymous, is one of the people buzzing around in the background to make this happen.
I know.
How are you doing?
Great. It's all going to go in here.
Is that? Oh, wait a minute.
And it's not there yet, but it's going in there in about 8 minutes.
You are holding up a fancy envelope, that's the envelope that will contain the winner?
The winner. Yeah.
I see.
I know. It's so exciting. Yeah. Brad Challoner is here. He's one of our board members. And together we have initiated the draw. And it's going to be ready in less than, looks like 7 minutes.
There's like things you've got to do. There's buttons to push.
There's buttons.
This is a big deal.
It's digitally selected. It's not something that we get to select.
We don't actually get to put our hands into a giant bucket and pull out the raffle ticket like if you're at the hockey game. Yeah. Not quite like that.
How much fun.
You
Yeah.
still call it that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
a digital bucket now.
It's a digital bucket, and it's been so much fun. And when Brad brought this idea to us, we were just like, wow, that sounds so interesting. Something fun in the summer and something that everybody can share in. And of course, as we've talked over and over and over again, a win-win for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, $25,000 that's going to go into that very important package of who we wanted to share this 50-50 with in the community.
And let's remind some folks about that, because we've been talking about it all throughout the Kids Count Make a Summer. We've had a couple months of selling these tickets and talking about where the money will go to that Kids Count program, helping kids beyond Christmas. And just this week, we were talking to one of the food banks that receives will receive some of this money. We talked to Tyson up at the Saanich Peninsula and doing the breakfast programs through the summer months when kids don't have those school programs to help out with food for those families who need that extra support with the cost of groceries. So that's one of the ways it's helping. But can you talk about some of the other places that this money will go to?
Well, when you apply for a raffle like this, you have to decide then where it's going to go. So it's those 4 segments that we chose because food and fun is what summer's all about for kids. And so knowing that food is really heavy on all of our minds for local kids, 3/4 of it is going to go to those 3 food banks and 1/4 to Victoria Therapeutic Riding Association. So and you jumped on a horse. I mean,
Pongo. He was on Pongo.
One of my favorite parts of the summer was when I got to go and ride a horse named Pongo.
I know.
It was the best.
It was fun.
And learning about how big of a deal that was, because this wasn't just, kids getting to ride horses.
No.
From physical therapy, children with disabilities who need help working muscles that they might not because maybe they're in a wheelchair and they don't have the same way to work muscles they would. Otherwise, the horses can give them that.
Absolutely.
And then there's the emotional end of it. Children who are kind of closed in, but will open up when the horse is there. And just learning about that firsthand was a really kind of emotional moment.
It was, wasn't it? I loved it. I was with you that day.
As fun as it was to meet Pongo, there was way more to it that was really cool. And I'm so glad that that's one of the places right here in Victoria that this money will support, thanks to you buying a ticket. So everybody wins today, because you're helping support these great programs if you bought one of the raffle tickets. But, one person will win in a different way, and that's $25,000, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, it is. And, I'm thrilled about this whole thing. It was a lot of fun, but, it took a lot of people, too. Yeah. And so I really have to say thank you to all the teams in CFAX 1070 and, of course, in Virgin Radio through the day, explaining what this was and pushing it along. And, of course, CTV. Brendan String came out twice and helped us with Pongo and the riding session. And
that's awesome.
And then also to visit Tyson at the food bank, which was important for, our listeners and viewers to see how important that these things are in our community and that we got to keep it at home.
It's the Mega Summer 50-50 raffle.
Right up.
It's coming up.
I gotta
Christine's got to go because she's got to go fill that envelope. She's got this. It's a really official looking envelope,
isn't it?
I love this.
This is care of Brad.
And the other thing. Nice. Oh, hey, Johnny's in the hallway. Johnny Novak, 107.3 Virgin Radio. Come here for a second. So, Johnny, step up to this microphone here.
Yeah.
We are going to do something really unusual when we do the draw, because, of course, this is not just CFAX. We've been doing this Make a Summer 50-50 with 107.3 Virgin Radio, with CTV Vancouver Island. So when we do this draw, we're doing it on all the stations. So we're going to sound a little different right after the 7 o'clock news, because we're going to become like some kind of transformer
We're doing what Victoria and Sandwich can't figure out. We're amalgamating the radio stations for a quick second.
Nice, Johnny.
We are. It's like Voltron. We're like Voltron coming together.
I can't wait to do this.
This is so good.
Johnny for amalgamation. Yes.
So stand by. We're going to join all the radio stations right after the 7 o'clock news and do this draw. It's the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50. I'm so looking forward to it, Johnny.
I can't wait.
CFAX Victoria, an iHeart radio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning, 7 o'clock on Friday, August 28th. It's a mainly sunny start, but some clouds rolling in today. Right now, 14 degrees. And stand by, Mega Summer 50-50 draw is happening in just a moment. But first, the news with Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning. The province setting the annual allowable rent increase at 2.2% for the next year. So 2027 will be that amount. Last year, increase was 2.3%, just slightly lower than it will be. This is the seventh consecutive year where the maximum allowable increase has been capped at or below inflation. The rent increase takes effect on New Year's Day, January 1st. Landlords are required to give renters a minimum 3 months' notice and can only increase rent once annually. Housing and Municipal Affairs Minister Christine Boyle says due to the government's work to increase housing supply, crack down on illegal short-term rentals and limit foreign investment in the housing market, BC has seen a 4.5% decrease in overall average rents. BC health officials say vaccine misinformation promoted by the U.S. officials is stoking unnecessary fears about vaccines proven to work. Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry says a recent U.S. executive order that recommends splitting the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine is distressing and ignores the evidence about its safety. Both Canada and the U.S. have seen increasing measles number cases last year and in 2024 as well, increasing a cluster in northeastern BC in June. 2 people just died in Pennsylvania of measles. Henry says the majority of measles cases in the past year have been recorded in communities where vaccination rates have been decreasing. Summer travel puts kids at risk of exposure to viruses such as measles, and parents should make sure the immunized records are up to date before school starts in 11 days from now. Many children starting school for the first time in this province are due for booster vaccines. The BC Conservatives did not manage to get through a full day without a resignation this week. Abbotsford South, Bruce Banman, a one-time leadership candidate, says he's now leaving caucus to sit as an independent. And Banman says numerous people have informed him that the new leader, Carrie Lynn Finley, is unelectable. This as she looks for a seat to run in. He adds the Conservatives' tent needs to be bigger, not smaller. It has been 6 months since the start of the war with U.S. war on Iran, and there's been no movement or agreement on Iran's nuclear program. The U.S. has struck nuclear targets in Iran, and the Pentagon claims has crippled their ability to continue a nuclear program. But the Iranians have remained defiant all this time and have been attacking ships continuing in the Strait of Hormuz.
It's been 6 months since the U.S. and Israel launched massive strikes against Iran, wiping out its conventional military and killing more than 3,600 Iranians, according to human rights activists in Iran, including 165 people after an elementary school was struck, most of them children. All of this loss in a war the president said would be over in a matter of weeks.
That, of course, has not happened. We have fresh data from the Stats Canada suggesting the country's economy was actually growing at a healthy clip in the second quarter.
The agency says real gross domestic product rose 3.3%, a tick lower than economists' expectations. That was still the fastest quarterly pace of growth since early 2023 and implies that rumblings of a recession earlier in the year might have been overblown. Back in May, StatCan reported a marginal annualized decline in first quarter GDP, a second consecutive quarterly drop that fueled debate over whether Canada was in a recession. The second quarter GDP report marks the final major release before the Bank of Canada's next interest rate announcement. Don Mitchell, the Canadian Press.
More than 100 tech companies, many at the heart of AI race, are now joining in on that open letter warning about the potential dangers of the new technology. The signatures on the letter include Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, warning that AI-powered cyber attacks on the verge of becoming far more widespread and sophisticated. They're urging governments around the world to do more to protect potentially vulnerable targets like water treatment facilities and hospitals.
Bill Gates this week sounded a new alarm of his own.
AI could empower criminals to create bombs, bioweapons, and computer viruses. There's no plan to ease the entry into the AI era, and not even a plan to have a plan.
Gates, long a tech industry optimist, is now predicting AI will cause massive unemployment, white-collar jobs going first, and he warns even the best-case transition will be one of the most turbulent times in human history.
And new fallout from that controversial golf ad that critics say depicts violence against women. Part of the ad promoting the golf company Callaway and the YouTube golf channel Good Good Golf shows Good founder Garrett Clark shoving a female golfer to the ground when she pulls out a golf club. Callaway acknowledges that it approved the ad, and now Good is promising $1 million to groups preventing violence against women. That's your news to 7:05.
Big win, bigger impact.
Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Good morning. This is Ryan Price on CFAX 1070.
And Johnny Novak from 107.3 Virgin Radio. And we are about to do the draw for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
This is such a big deal. We have combined radio stations. Both radio stations now playing this very moment as we do this very draw.
This is incredible. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming together over these last 8 weeks. We sold out 8 hours before schedule yesterday. $50,000 was the jackpot. We hit that, and someone is winning half of that right now. I have a folder in my hand with the winner who we're going to call in just a minute. I'm going to take a peek.
You're peeking?
Ooh. I'm peeking. Okay, I'll hand it to you.
Okay.
You got the phone over there. We need to make this phone call right now because someone's winning $25,000. That is going to change their lives as well as the children in our community with CFAX Santa's Anonymous for the Kids Count program.
Johnny, we're going to make a phone call right now to this winner. Ooh. So I'm going to the phone board. Going to the phones. Here we go. Dial tone. It's a good start.
All right, let's
Here we
go.
go.
I don't know why this is so intense.
Okay, pick up.
So nerve-wracking.
It really is.
Come on, pick up.
Hello?
Hello, is this Patrick?
Yes, it is.
Patrick, it's Ryan Price from CFAX 1070. I'm Johnny Novak from 107.3 Virgin Radio. And we're calling about your shopping history over the last couple of weeks. Have you bought a 50-50 ticket?
Yes, I have.
Well, we're happy to inform you that you have won $25,000.
You're a winner of the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 jackpot.
Excellent, thank you.
Patrick, this is huge news. So, when did you buy your ticket?
I don't remember.
He's a little lost for
It's
words.
all just blacked out, I think, for Patrick.
Patrick, what area of town do you live in? Where do we find you?
In Victoria.
Victoria.
You're here in Victoria. You bought a raffle ticket, and you've just won $25,000. I got to ask you, how are you feeling right now?
Super.
Patrick, where did we catch you right now? Who's in the background?
I just got up. You just woke me up.
Oh, that's a good wake up, isn't it?
Great alarm clock.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we were wondering because the phone was ringing, and we were hoping you were going to pick up, but I guess you were just waking up.
Yeah, I got the radio on. Actually, is what I woke up to was the radio.
A bit of shock in your system, no doubt.
Yes, it is.
Is this good money coming to you?
Definitely.
Oh, good.
But,
Do you have
I've
a
been
pla-
doing renovations. Yeah.
Oh, what are you renovating?
My house.
Oh, wow.
Well, that reno budget just got a lot bigger. There's going to be a bigger deck off the side of your house. Man, the kitchen is going to look gorgeous.
Are you going to do something gold-plated just for the fun of it?
Look at my bathroom sink. It's gold. Why? Because I could. I played the Kids Count Make a Summer 50-50 raffle. Patrick, I'm so glad you were walking away with $25,000. And to everybody else, thank you so much for your support. You might not have won the big prize, but you won by helping charity, by helping CFAX Santa's Anonymous and the Kids Count program, helping children beyond Christmas in Greater Victoria. Johnny from 107.3 Virgin
Thanks
Radio.
for having me. I love a good 50-50 because there's no losers in a 50-50. Everybody wins. And this has just been incredible seeing everyone come out over the last 8 weeks. I've been making the same joke the whole time. I'm like, Victoria's very last minute. Get your tickets now. We did like $10,000 in sales over the last 2 days of this. So thank you for everyone coming together. We appreciate you so much.
And congratulations again to Patrick, the big winner.
Hey.
CFAX 1070 morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Right now, Scene Plus members save 40% off fresh BC boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Offer ends Wednesday. I got to read the traffic now. I got to go back and do normal radio after such a monumental moment right here with Patrick winning the Kids Count 50/50 Mega Summer.
He was
raffle.
So shocked.
Did you like how he could barely at first?
He wasn't breathing at first. We also woke him up.
Yeah,
and let's face it, if you're going to have an alarm wake you up, that's the best kind.
That's the one. Wow.
He just won. And he's doing home renovations right now. So this money for him probably can come. He's coming at a really good time. Like Johnny said, he's got to gold plate something.
Yeah, definitely. Somewhere in the house, gold-plated toilet or something.
Wonderful. So, yeah.
You don't have to do that. You can do something else. Yeah.
We're going to meet up with him soon.
Okay. Traffic and weather, right? I got to focus here.
Right,
Sorry.
Well, we're excited for
Lisa,
him.
I got to focus.
Okay, focus.
There's nothing happening in traffic.
Focus on something else then.
Then we'll focus on BC
That's
Ferries.
a good thing. If there's no news in traffic. No news is good news.
No news in traffic. There is news for BC Ferries. The 7 o'clock sailing that just left was full, and the 8 o'clock is almost full at 93%. So a busy start to BC Ferries from Swartz Bay to Sawasan. And in the weather, mainly sunny start. Clouds rolling in today. Highs to hit 21 degrees. We will see a low down to 11 overnight tonight. Mix of sun and cloud to kick off the weekend on Saturday with a high of 18. And for Sunday, it's a cloudy day with a high of 18. Right now in Victoria, the temperatures are mostly around about 14 degrees. That's our official temperature right now. But it's 15 in downtown Victoria. Texter at 71010 says, "Congratulations, Patrick.
Yeah.
You lucky duck," says the texter.
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody had to win, but we're glad it was. It was open to all of BC, but we're someone from Victoria won. I mean,
that's great. I'm glad.
It's perfect.
I'm glad
Ryan and I did not enter.
We
made
did not.
a point of not entering. So, yeah, we wanted it to go to someone who really needed it, and that seemed to work out really well.
Love it.
Someone doing home renovations, that fits the bill.
I can't believe we just gave away $25,000.
I know. I feel good about that. Don't you
wild.
feel good when you give away money?
Great.
I think we should do it again.
Maybe we'll do this again
Talk to
one day.
Christine about doing that again.
Okay, we'll talk to her and we'll make it happen. I think this is.
I like you say that. We'll talk to her, then we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, it works.
You're charming, Lisa. You can do it.
I can charm, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the business news because the S&P TSX is up 63 points. The Dow Jones up 95. The NASDAQ has dropped just 3. And the Canadian dollar at 72 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, Lisa, coming up in just a few moments, we do have to get back to reality here and talk about some of the big stories in the news, including the fact that the BC Conservative week that they've been having continued yesterday with another MLA leaving the caucus and some behind-the-scenes allegations of maybe the leader, Carrie Lynn Findlay, potentially doing something she shouldn't, which is offering a job for somebody to step aside to free up her seat.
Yes.
Which, I mean, somebody did step aside on the main line to free up the seat. But was there anything improper that took place in that? There are some allegations, including even a phone call, which is unverified, that's emerged. It's gotten very weird. So
weird is good, but we know that the exodus from the legislature, from that caucus, is like the snowbirds flying south right now.
So Rob Buffum, who's the legislative reporter with CTV Vancouver, is going to be joining us because we got a lot of stuff to try to get down to, including this unverified audio. What's going on there? How much stock should we put into that? We're going to be talking about all of those stories with Rob Buffum from the legislature in just a moment. But right now, it's over to the news at 7:16. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. Talking numbers and StatsCan crunching them says our economy grew at a faster pace in more than 3 years in the second quarter as exports and business capital investment ramped up. The agency says real gross domestic product rose 3.3% in the second quarter on an annualized basis, while GDP was up 0.3% in June. StatsCan says exports surged last quarter, in part because auto production reaccelerated after faltering over the previous 6 months. Business capital investment, meanwhile, was up 2.3% in the second quarter, snapping a streak of 5 consecutive quarters of decline. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says Global Affairs Canada is working closely with Nepalese and Chinese counterparts to try to find 25 missing Canadians in the region hit by flash flooding. Ottawa is coordinating with international partners and allies and citizens in the area, deploying 5 consular officials to the city of Kathmandu. Anand says that the consular officials will be reaching out to travel agencies, local authorities, and other countries to gather additional information. Plus, Canada will probably be sending help too. As AI music booms, Canadian artists are demanding consent, transparency, and pay. The federal government is currently holding public consultation asking what meaningful and practical disclosure should look like as technology becomes increasingly embedded across the economy. The consultation runs until September 23rd with music organizations, including SOCAN and the Music Publishers Canada, preparing submissions. SOCAN's head of legal policy, Fraser Turnbull, says the lack of transparency is one of the biggest obstacles to enforcing copyright. And that is your news to 718.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods, where right now Scene Plus members save 40% off fresh BC boneless, skinless chicken breasts, but that offer ends Wednesday. On the traffic scene, we've got no major issues right now. Things are smooth sailing. There will be some road work on Cook Street, just south of Hillside, between Hillside and Kings. Southbound lane closure starting at 9 this morning, so watch it for that later in the day. It is not affecting the morning commute, however. One sail wait at BC Ferries just cleared, so the 7 o'clock was full when it left. And now the 8 o'clock sailing just filled up, so we're back to a one sail wait. And the 9 o'clock after that is 85% full. So a busy start to the day. A lot of reservations on some of the sailings coming up through the day, so just watch out for a busy day at BC Ferries. And in the weather, somewhat mix of sun and cloud right now, I guess you'd call that. It's sort of sunnier in some places, but you can see the clouds out there, which are rolling towards us, and it'll be clouding over by this afternoon with a high of 21.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Woo, we've got a week of BC politics to unpack, so I'm so glad that legislative reporter with CTV Vancouver, Rob Buffum, is here. Rob, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, Ryan. Happy to be here.
Quite seriously, though, how are you doing? This has got to be a busy week where you're flying around trying to keep track of it all.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy week. It's been a there's all the cliches about never a dull moment in BC politics, and this week has certainly lived up to that. I know every time I've spoken to a political scientist this week for an interview, it's taken no cajoling for them to say, this is unprecedented. I haven't seen this. The word unprecedented is overused in BC politics, but at this point, it's applicable. So it has been busy. It's been quite quite something to see it unfold. And we're still there's a sense that we are definitely still just in the middle of it. All the stuff that's going on with the BC Conservatives is, I think, far from over.
Well, the latest, let's focus on the MLAs that have left the BC Conservative Caucus to start, but we will also talk about some of the other things swirling around here. But the latest one yesterday, Bruce Banman leaves the BC Conservative Caucus. This is an interesting name, I thought, because he was one of the original guys to go over back when John Rustad first started all of this. He was the one that crossed over, and his number gave them official party status in the legislature when he crossed the floor to join Rustad back in 2023. So he was one of the OG of this kind of crop of BC Conservatives in the legislature, and now even he has left. Talk a bit about what he said when he put out a statement about why he decided to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think many people were quite surprised that he had left, because he is, is the MLA for Abbotsford South. He's somebody who has been seen as being quite a right-wing conservative member of the party, on the right-wing side of that. And it was, some of the people who had left previously were folks who had been BC Liberals, the Peter Millibars, the Ian Paytons, the Teresa Watts. But he was somebody who had left BC United, previously BC Liberals, as you say, to join John Rustad. And he was the second person that gave them official party status. And they, as you know, catapulted to within one seat of forming government after that. So he, I know, was very proud of his involvement and role in that way. And I think he was seen as being somebody who was more probably aligned with the ideology of Carrie Lynn Finlay, who has talked about purity tests to make sure people are true blue conservatives. Having said that, he was removed from his role as a whip, so he might have been upset about that with the new rules people had under Carrie Lynn Finlay. And in his release yesterday, he said basically it was with a heavy heart, he said, that he'd made the decision, but he said that he was hearing consistently from many constituents that they felt like Carrie Lynn Finlay was unelectable. And so for that reason, he was leaving to sit as an independent. And I will say he's the sixth MLA in the last 2 weeks, fifth already this week. We'll see what happens today, who left, all of them citing concerns about Carrie Lynn Finlay's leadership. So somebody had pointed out Christina Lowen, an MLA who's there and is adamant that she's going to stay, and is upset with people for leaving, upset with the media for, in her view, unfairly attacking Carrie Lynn Finlay. And she said, look, she was elected duly as the leader. She should be there. But we're seeing, and she pointed out there hasn't been any policy changes since prior to May 30th and now. So that's true. I think that people have identified Carrie Lynn Finlay, those who've left, they have concerns about the way things are going under her leadership.
Yeah, even a guy like Bruce Banman, who, like you said, might be more aligned with her politics, still leaving for maybe those concerns. At least that's what he stated as he left. And who knows? The week's not done yet. It might be Friday, but we still have a Friday to get through. Do you think more could drop today?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Yesterday, it seemed strangely, eerily quiet until about 3:30 when Bruce Banman released his note. I expect we're going to hear on Monday at least two, maybe more. I think Alia Warbus, it's been widely speculated she will do so. She's away on vacation till I think Sunday. And Donegal Wilson is another name that's come up consistently as somebody who's on vacation but is expected to do so. We'll see. But they have a caucus meeting on Monday, which you can bet will be pretty fiery, because it's a caucus meeting taking place Monday morning. And I've heard from a couple people that there's an expectation that there will be MLAs at the meeting who stand up and express concerns about the direction of the party and ask Carrie Lynn Finlay to stand down. Maybe that won't come to pass, but that's what I've heard will happen. On the other side, I think she has been somebody who's seen as being pretty resolute, sort of a political warrior, and I think it's unlikely that she will step down. I think what we may see is sort of a separation or purging of those people who aren't in line with her, and we're going to see the BC Conservatives potentially significantly lowered in numbers. We may see a landscape now where we've looked more like Ontario, where there's an NDP party, a Liberal party, and a Conservative party. Because I'll say as well, on Wednesday, there was a meeting of prominent business members of the business community in BC who met, about 70 people, I'm told, standing room only at a White Spot basement, and talked about, hey, things are not working as we want to see for the free enterprise under Carrie Lynn Finlay. We need to do something. And there was talk of removing her or trying to get her to step down as leader. There was talk of starting a new party, but the idea that seemed to gain the most traction was reigniting the BC Liberals. So we'll have to wait and see. But
hang on, Rob. I joked about that yesterday. I was talking to a UBC political science professor, and I kind of joked, like, wouldn't it be funny if just they decide we're going to forget the last couple of years happened. We're just going to bring the BC Liberals back. If that actually happens, I will just. That'll be amazing that I predicted it. Thank you so much for breaking that up.
Well, there you go. Clairvoyant, Rand Price. Well, I was told that there was a presentation, and there was at the meeting there were some pollsters, and somebody talked about the fact that their view was that if that name was resurrected, that party was resurrected with name recognition, they would immediately be at 20% in the polls. And it would. I think part of the calculus was how soon an election happens. Is it going to be the scheduled election in just over 2 years, or is David Eby going to take advantage of the chaos and fragmentation on the right and call an early election maybe this spring, in which case having an established party name would be maybe a more prudent route to go rather than trying to rebrand a whole new name that people don't recognize and have never heard of.
But established party name was so much infighting and so much exodus too. What's the tipping point with this?
Yeah, good to hear your voice, Lisa. I don't know. I don't know what the tipping point is. I mean, it seems to me people are probably keenly watching Trevor Halford as well, because he's probably under a lot of pressure. He was under him as interim leader. The party had soared. They were out fundraising the NDP. They were leading them by 10 points in the polls. There was a lot of enthusiasm. People who'd been MLAs like John Rustad, who probably wasn't going to run again, was emboldened. He was excited about running again, and I think he may still. But my point is, there is really high morale. Since May 30th, I've heard their fundraising is now at a glacial pace, was a phrase I heard yesterday. They're hemorrhaging MLAs, and they're now down in the polls. So I don't know what the tipping point is, but I do think what's going to happen is there's going to be a group of conservatives who stay true and stick with that party. And then there's going to be, Peter Millibar and Ian Payton with the party of a new name. Centre BC is always in the discussion, the group led by Mike Bernier, but they do not seem to be gaining that much traction under that name. So
there's a lot going on there. And actually, Rob, I really want to, we're out of time, but I did say before we got into this chat that I'd address one other issue. So I quickly want to throw this at you. With all of this going on, that's not the only bad news for the BC Conservatives, because some news has come out about the one MLA who stepped aside is resigning her seat to allow the leader, Carrie Lynn Finley, to run. This is Conservative Rianne Gasper, who's resigning her seat in Abbotsford Mission. There are accusations that maybe some improper things happened surrounding this. There's even this unverified audio of a conversation. Just really quickly unpack this for us and what we need to think about this, because it seems like it's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of maybe a gray area. She issued a statement yesterday in response to what was an unverified audio tape of her that was posted by an anonymous Twitter account, the Finley Files, where she's heard saying something to the effect of, if somebody was willing to step down and give up their seat, they could work out some kind of advisory role job for that person. There is a criminal code offense that involves basically providing a financial inducement for somebody leaving office, but it's rarely been tested at law. And again, Finley denies that she did anything improper. Ian Payton, who did step down, alleges that he was offered a job with the same salary as he was making as an MLA. Whether that constitutes a crime, if proven, is another question. I spoke to our friend Mike Mulligan, who said it's rarely been tested, and it's a little bit unclear as to whether these set of facts, again, if proven, and they are denied, but if proven, if that would be a crime. But that's something that we'll have to see how that progresses, whether the police investigate it, if they are investigating it, and what will happen. But again, Carrie Lynn Finley adamantly denies that she did what was alleged by Payton or that she did anything wrong.
Lots to unpack there this week of BC politics. CTV Vancouver legislative reporter Rob Buffum, thank you for taking some time to get through it all today. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon, because it's not the end of the story. Thank you.
You bet. Have a good day.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070. Victoria, an iHeartRadio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning, 7:33 on this Friday, August 28th. It's going to be a clouding over kind of day, but starting with a mix of sun and cloud and 15 degrees right now. Right now, let's get to the news. Here's Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. BC Wildfire Update has 208 wildfires burning in our province. That's up about 10 from yesterday. 95 are considered out of control. There's been 40 new start in just the last day. 18 fires burning on Vancouver Island, including 3 considered out of control. They are all north of Campbell River in the wilderness, pretty much central. And crews are, of course, working and chipping away at those flames. And BC is ending the provincial state of emergency that was imposed nearly 3 weeks ago, back on August 8th.
The state of emergency had previously been scheduled to end on Saturday, but the government says it lifted the declaration early on the advice of emergency officials. A statement from the Emergency Management Ministry says the declaration was imposed to make emergency powers and other tools available quickly, but fortunately they weren't needed. The cancellation of the declaration has no effect on evacuation orders and alerts, which remain in place across BC. The state of provincial emergency was declared hours after the Bold Range wildfire forced residents of West Okanagan Lake to flee, with more than 20,000 people evacuating their homes. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
The Coastal Fire Centre is lifting the partial off-road vehicle ban today, but the campfire ban remains in place. They are asking you still to be prudent with fire use. It remains very dry across the island. The BC Conservatives did not manage to get through a full day yesterday without another resignation. Abbotsford South, Bruce Banman throwing in the towel. That one-time leadership candidate says he's leaving the caucus to sit as an independent. This is becoming a common refrain. It's been 6 now. Banman says numerous people informed him the new leader, Carolyn Finlay, is unelectable. He says that the Conservative tent needs to get bigger, not smaller. About 11 days till school resumes for most kids across this province. September 8th is Go Day for teachers and kids. The new Leger study from Fraser Institute finds almost 99% of grades 6 through 12 teachers in this province asked believe that some of their students are using AI to complete their homework. Teachers believe that more than 52% of students use AI, some inappropriately. 49% believe that half or more of their students are using it as a learning aid or a crutch. And nearly 79% of BC teachers say students' critical thinking has declined over the last 5 years as a result. 74% of teachers, though, say they use AI themselves weekly in their teaching, yet only 31% of teachers that responded say their school has a policy on AI use for staff, and only 40% have it for student use. The collapse of trade talks with the U.S. has added urgency to reducing trade barriers within our country, but experts say it's not going to be a simple fix. Green Pullman is with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. She says there's been progress on accepting standards from their provinces, but there's still real challenges in practical use.
Unfortunately, it now gets into more of the nitty-gritty detail side of things and actually looking at how each province is actually operating on the ground. That's the harder work of it.
Federal and provincial trade officials met this week to push forward a wide range of fronts, including better acceptance of services across the province. Stats Canada releasing the real gross domestic product numbers, rising a healthy rate of 3.3% on an annualized basis in the second quarter. The agency also revising its initial GDP estimates for the first quarter of the year from slightly negative to positive, quashing suggestions that a technical recession has hit our economy. France Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne defending the government's quick reversal of the retaliatory tariffs on seafood imports. The Liberal government announced a plan for sweeping tariffs just a few days ago, which would have hit the U.S. seafood sector very hard, and of course Canada as a result. But the federal government yanking that off the list after hearing from concerned Canadians.
My job is to fight for Canadians. My job is to fight for Canadian business, to fight for Canadian industry, to fight for Canadian fishers. Those are the ones that I listen to. And that's why we said if we need to update the list, we do it. And that's in the best interest of Canada. That's why we did it.
Jeff Irvin is the head of Lobster Council Canada. More than 100 tech companies, many at the heart of AI race, now joining an open letter warning about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence. And the letter includes signatures from Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, warning that AI-powered cyber attacks are on the verge of becoming far more widespread and sophisticated. And they're urging governments around the world to do more to protect potentially vulnerable targets like hospitals and water treatment facilities. And that is your news to 7:38. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. How much do you use AI to answer general questions in life? 17% say often, 43% rarely, 39% never do. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, Twitter X, and also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best to do time, 7:39.
Thank you, Lisa. It's going to be a day that gets overcast, but we're going to start with some sunny breaks. Right now, it is 15 degrees in downtown Victoria, 14 at the airport. CFAX 1070 Sports. Let's talk about the Victoria Royals because we got hockey news. If this is a sign that summer is getting near the end, it's the fact that I got hockey news right now. Victoria Royals officially hitting the ice today to begin their 2026 training camp. Fans will get a first look at some of the new additions, like Dallas Stars prospect and defending WHL gold champion Cameron Schmidt, who joined the Victoria team via a blockbuster trade deal, racking up 51 goals, 100 points last season. So we got that firepower on display. Also newly acquired veteran forward Savin Verk is in the camp after a recent trade deal with the Tri-City Americans. The players, the Royals, they've been split up into a couple of squads. They're going to play a big round-robin tournament at the Save on Foods Memorial Center. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning and then takes place over the course of the day. Also in hockey news, because we got more of that, Connor Hellebuck, the NHL's Hart Trophy winner in 2025 and a three-time Vezina Trophy winner, has publicly asked for a trade from the Winnipeg Jets. This came out yesterday. Hellebuck said he privately asked to be traded several months ago in a statement posted on his agent's X account. The goaltender said he gave the organization time to address his request quietly and respectfully, but has now decided to go public as training camp nears. For the Toronto Blue Jays, they are back at it tonight. After boos were ringing down at the Rogers Centre last night, they were blown out by Kansas City and the Royals. It was a 3-2 loss. Fans started to voice their frustration during what was a 6-run sixth inning, but perhaps the most notable boos were aimed at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who came up to the plate after that.
Guerrero with a ground ball to second for the second out. And you can hear it at home, so there's no point in us pretending it's not happening. More booing tonight here at Rogers Centre.
Oh, the frustrated fans. The Jays are back at it tonight hosting the Seattle Mariners for the opener of a 3-game series. And that's your sports to 741. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by QP Vancouver Island. Workers delivering the public services island communities rely on. QP, better services, better communities. Over to the traffic. On the roads, looking pretty clear right now. Just a usual volume delays. Lighter volume than usual from the West Shore into Victoria, I would say. Fridays can sometimes be like that. If you do see a crash, let me know at 71010. And for the road work, the new one today is going to be on Cook Street, just south of Hillside. So Hillside down to Kings. The southbound lane there will be closed starting at 9. And that's going to go through the day as they do some electrical work there. But it's not in effect yet. Things are still moving okay. Busy day at BC Ferries. Let's check in there where we've got a 1 sail wait. The 8 o'clock is full. The 9 o'clock is about 90% full. So possible sailing rates coming our way a little later this morning from Swartz Bay to Swanson. And in the weather forecast, mainly sunny today, but increasing clouds as we get into the afternoon. Highs of 21, a little cooler by the water, where it will be breezy at times off the Wand to Fuca Strait. Mainly cloudy tonight, lows to 11, mix of sun and cloud tomorrow to kick off the weekend on Saturday with a high of 18. Clouding over for Sunday, high of 18. We do see some showers, but not until Tuesday night. Currently on the forecast, it looks like Tuesday evening might be where our next bout of rain comes in. Right now, it's 15 degrees downtown. the markets in Toronto, S&P TSX now down 181 to 36,652. The Dow is down 6 to 53,563. The Nasdaq is down 38, so kind of losses across the board here. And the Canadian dollar at 72 cents US. It's also down a bit from yesterday. But some news out of StatsCan today. The economy in Canada grew 3.3% annualized in quarter two.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, still buzzing from our big prize giveaway. If you missed it, we drew the name for our $25,000 out of the $50,000 jackpot for the Kids Count Make a Summer 50-50. Patrick from right here in Victoria took our call. We woke him up, and he was so thrilled and sort of bewildered to be woken up with the news that he had just won half of that 50-50 jackpot of $25,000. What an amazing day that was.
And Patrick lives in Victoria.
Yeah.
And
he's doing some renos.
He's saying he's doing home renovation, so I think the money's spent.
Yeah, that's true. Just going to help rebuild.
I think that's a kitchen, isn't it?
I know how renos go.
Yeah.
They are never what you think they're going to be.
Open your wallet.
Yeah.
Keep it open.
And so we're helping him out.
Yeah.
What a great day. It's such a wonderful feeling. Let's get to the news now. It's 7:45. Here's Lisa.
Vic PD still unpacking what happened with a reported home invasion, sharing information about what went down just after 7 Wednesday night at a home on Belton Avenue, that is. Police say they initiated tactical deployment. The GVERT team called in too, due to concerns that some of the suspects inside may have been armed. The situation was eventually resolved peacefully. Police say the investigation is ongoing, but they are thanking for the public for steering clear of the situation and also for people that hunkered down in place while this was going on. The U.S. president says Lake Ontario now in the U.S. is known as Lake America. Hard to say. Trump signed an executive order from the Oval Office yesterday saying the name change goes into effect immediately in the U.S. The president says Canada has been treating the U.S. poorly and again says this country acts like a U.S. state. The name Lake Ontario comes for the Indigenous word Ontario, which appropriately means lake is big and the lake is beautiful. The Prime Minister weighing in with a statement last night on socials saying the name is more than 400 years old. It predates both Confederation of Canada and the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. He says, we know America is changing their trading relationships, their foreign policies, their national monuments, also their hydronyms. Canada has been known that the naming reality means that calling it Lake Ontario will stay in place now and always. This from our Prime Minister. And California lawmakers approving a ban on disposable nicotine vapes. Assembly Bill 762 now awaiting the governor, Gavin Newsom's signature. If passed, the importation and manufacture of disposable vapes will become illegal in that state starting January 1st. Violators could be fined $500. Supporters say the bill say battery-powered e-cigarettes thrown into the trash creates a fire hazard at landfills or litter the ground, allowing toxic chemicals to seep into waterways. That's your news to 747.
Thank you, Lisa. Traffic and weather coming next. If you see a problem out there, a crash or other incident causing you trouble on the commute, we'd love to hear the tip at 71010. Please do let us know. Right now, though, I'll give you a sneak peek at the traffic and weather. It's actually looking pretty good today.
Okay.
But
that's a sneak peek?
That's the sneak peek.
Okay. It's going to be light and then dark later.
Yeah.
And no rain.
Periods of sunshine followed by periods of dark is what's in the forecast.
Yeah.
That was George Carlin, wasn't it?
I think so,
He did that. Yeah. Okay, well, we will take a break. We'll get our traffic and weather up, and then we will be talking about the fact that we're 10 years into the province's overdose emergency, and one of the members of the group, Moms Stop the Harm, is going to be speaking to us because she's preparing a vigil this coming Monday in the evening at Broadview United Church. So let's get to that, what the vigil is all about, but also just, again, touching base on this moment and how it's affecting people. We're going to get to that next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 7:50 now. No major issues on the roads. Text me at 71010 if you see anything. The busy thing is BC Ferries, actually, where we have seen sailing waits through the morning. Right now, we're facing a one sail wait at 8, which is 10 minutes away. But the 9 o'clock sailing's 95% full, so it's going to be full any moment now. So watch out for busy day, Swartz Bay to Sawasan. The roads, like I said, looking clear. Fairly light volume out of the West Shore at this time. And for the weather forecast, it's a mainly sunny start. Cloudy by later this afternoon, highs of 21 degrees. Low of 11 overnight with some clouds, but to clear up a bit tomorrow. We'll see a mix of sun and cloud, high of 18. Cloudy day on Sunday, high of 18. And then Monday, mix of sun and cloud. But then back to some clouds on Tuesday, and a chance of showers might be rolling in by Tuesday evening. Right now, the temperatures around the region for the airport, it's still 14 degrees, and in downtown Victoria, it's still 15 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
A somber reminder that people continue to die in BC and right here in Victoria because of the toxic drug overdose crisis. And in fact, we are still 10 years into a provincial overdose emergency with deaths continuing. And this Monday, 7 p.m. at Broadview United Church, there will be a vigil to note all of this, remember those who have been lost, and try to just keep the issue alive. My guest, a member of Moms Stop the Harm, Leslie Hoja, is joining us right now. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. Thank you for taking this call.
Yeah, and it's a tough place to start. Let's maybe start with your story and where you're coming from.
Yes, my story is that when my son died 6 years ago, I didn't even know the word fentanyl. I barely had heard it. And the whole situation was really like something beyond, like I couldn't even imagine. Now it's everyday news, and we hear the news every day or every month. We get a report, or every quarter, how many people have died of toxic drug substances. And yet it goes on. And when you have a health emergency, it seems like 10 years later, we shouldn't still be having the same health emergency. Lisa Lapointe, our former coroner, had laid out some clear paths, some known solutions, and those were not accepted. She then resigned, and she's retired from that. So that was disappointing.
Well, my condolences, by the way, for your loss as you continue to deal with that and continue to watch the situation just, like you said, not change. Let's talk about this vigil first off. What is it, and why do you think it's important that we still hold these moments?
The families are grieving, and families miss their loved ones. I've heard so many sad stories. I belong to a group that meets monthly from Moms Stop the Harm. They started a group called Healing Hearts, and every month we meet, and some of us have been coming for 6-7 years, but we still need that support, because when you lose a child, it's always a trauma. But when you lose a child for this reason, it's also wrapped in shame and stigma. So you're not only dealing with your grief, but you're dealing with judgments of people and of your own self. I felt my own self being full of shame, and what could I have done?
And also at this point, like you mentioned, 10 years on, I feel like there is a public kind of hardening of perception a little bit here. People who are frustrated with the situation, but kind of would rather it just get clamped down on and pushed away, rather than, like you mentioned, the former BC coroner, Lisa Lapointe, making some suggestions that were, I think just difficult for people to get their heads around. It didn't seem like, it seems like it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort to try to turn the ship around, whereas I think people would rather just, bring the police in, clean it up, get it out of the way. But that's not necessarily the right way to go. But at the same time, there is a question here I'm trying to get to. I guess my question is just that how do you feel about public perception right now? Because it seems like it's turning against this issue.
Yes, it is. And I think I've said that to other people that when you hear a lot of numbers, it makes you numb and you don't really listen, because numbers, you just pass them over your head and you just don't want to hear them. I mean, And when you hear them every month or every 6 weeks or whatever, it stops meaning much to you. And the vigil, there'll be one of the counselors from hospice speaking, Heidi Wigmore. I was fortunate to be in a hospice group where she was one of the leaders. And 5 of us met for a few weeks and were able to deal with the fact that our loved ones died from toxic substances. And 6 years later, we meet every few months still. We have stayed friends because when you have lost someone like this, it's the stigma. When you have friends that have understood this from their own heart, from their own experience, then you take support from each other, where you don't necessarily get that from the general public. So that's why this vigil is important. We light candles. We say the names of our loved ones. We hear stories. There's songs. And it's a time to come together. And anyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to come and show support for these people, for these families.
And Leslie, on that point, I see the importance of, even if you don't know someone who's lost to toxic drugs, it is important to show support for people in the community that have gone through this and continue to go through this nightmare.
Yes, it is important to not turn away. Yes, I think it's very important, and I hope people will think they could come. And we're welcoming everyone. And I've spoken a few times at these events, and when I speak about my child, a grown man, he was a grown man. I mean, I see the effect of hearing about one story about one person who was loved, who was missed, than hearing a bunch of numbers.
What was your son's name, Leslie?
Jean-Guy. It was a French. We named him a French name. We were sorry about that because it was always confusing for people. They never quite knew what his name was. Jean-Guy with the French sound. So he was a big, tall, handsome guy. He was 6'6" and took up a lot of space in the world, and people loved him. We really miss him.
Well, thank
We're so sorry.
Thank you for telling us about him. And let's tell people again where they can go. It's Monday, 7 p.m., Broadview United Church, the vigil, 10 years into the province's overdose emergency. And we're talking to a member of the Moms Stop the Harm group, Leslie Hoja. Thank you for telling us your story.
Thank you for spreading this word, and thank you for telling people to please come. And if you don't, light a candle at home and just know that we're lighting candles to honor our loved ones.
Good luck, Leslie.
Thank you.
CFAX 8 o'clock news is next.
CFAX Victoria, an iHeartRadio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning, 8 o'clock on Friday, August 28th. The clouds rolling in today. No rain yet. Maybe next week. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins. Here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan, and good morning. A day after Donald Trump's new executive order to rename Lake of Ontario to Lake America, at least in the U.S., there are big questions regarding where all this drama that played out this week leaves us in the ongoing trade war. And so far, the answer appears to be nowhere special. CTV's Jeremy Sharon with the latest.
The two sides remain far apart. The two sides remain away from the negotiating table. And as we're told, lines of communications are still closed. We're getting very different stories from both sides as Canada prepares to, on September 8th, impose tariffs, counter tariffs on a long list of goods, $28 billion American to be exact, dollar for dollar countermeasures that are set to go into place.
The lake renaming came with swift reaction from Prime Minister Mark Carney. He tweeted last night. He went to social media and made a statement saying the name Lake Ontario has been in place for 400 years. It's an Indigenous name. It will never change. And so far, of course, there's little hope that the trade spat will be changing too much either. But the collapse of those trade talks with the U.S. has added urgency to reducing trade barriers within our provinces. And experts say it's not going to be a simple fix. Corinne Pullman is one of them. She's with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business and says there's been progress on the movement of goods, but there's still issues like provinces double charging for things like alcohol.
If we're really going to, take it seriously to become sort of one economy across the country, we really have to start looking at some of these things more closely.
Estimates on the long-term benefits of removing provincial trade barriers range from 1 to 7% boost to the GDP. Government officials say people from Ebola-affected countries will continue to be banned from entering Canada for another 30 days. This means decisions on immigration and visa applications for residents of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan will remain on hold until September 28th. Global health law researcher Rujan Habibi says she's disappointed by the move.
I mean, we know the kind of knock-on effect of these measures. They're harming lives of people that are basically put in limbo and are on hold. People who are not making easy decisions to come to Canada. We're harming the response by creating barriers or disincentives for humanitarian workers to become engaged in this issue.
Canada is also keeping a 21-day quarantine for anyone who returns from any of those three countries. Foreign nationals who have been in the DRC within the past 21 days will continue to be barred from flying to this country. New fallout from that controversial ad that critics say depicts violence against women. If you've seen it, yeah, I'm in that camp too. Part of the ad promotes the golf company Callaway and the YouTube golf channel Good Good, showing Good Good co-founder Garrett Clark shoving a female golfer to the ground when she pulls a driver, out of her golf club. In the ad, he looms over her and says, "Do not touch my new driver." Clark, in a post online, looks back on it now. He says the concept was, quote, super dumb, and the execution made his skin crawl.
The backlash was instant, critics saying it depicted violence against women, and the ad was pulled. Clark says it was a scripted skit, spoofing the horror movie Obsession, with players being possessed by an evil golf club.
Yeah, it didn't make the mark. Callaway, which acknowledges that it approved the ad, is now cutting ties with Good Good and is promising to donate millions of dollars to groups working to prevent violence against women. Violence against music, you could call it that. Music Publishers Canada CEO Margaret McGuffin says the organization frequently hears from songwriters and publishers who have discovered their music has appeared in AI training data sets. In June, an investigation published by The Atlantic found 4 giant data sets containing more than 21 million music tracks that had circulated among AI developers as training material for creating AI models. Grammy-winning Canadian roots artist Alison Russell calls it high-tech theft.
They're learning from, without consent, right, from everything that's out there, and then trying to imitate it. I think the abuses of consent are so rampant with it that, like, however it evolves, we need guardrails, we need legal guardrails.
Russell has about 40 of her songs in the Atlantic's database of music identified in AI training data sets. And that is your news to 8:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. How often do you use artificial intelligence to answer general questions? 20% say often, 42% rarely, and 38% say they never do. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:07.
Thanks, Lisa. Let's take a quick look at what's coming your way in the weather. Got some blue sky right now, but clouds are rolling in this afternoon. We will have a high of 21 degrees, and right now it is at the Victoria International Airport, 16 degrees. In CFAX 1070 Sports, the sound of Blue Jays fans booing their own team was impossible to ignore last night as the Toronto Blue Jays lost embarrassingly 13-2 to the Kansas City Royals. Manager John Snyder was asked about the fan reaction after the game.
You understand it, right? Because, the fans are coming out every single night, which we love and we appreciate. And there's no better fans in the sport. That's evident, you know what I mean? That with the support that we have from coast to coast. So they're entitled to their opinion. We love their support every night.
With the loss, Toronto now 3.5 games back of a wild card playoff spot. Kicking off a weekend series tonight against one of the teams in that playoff fight with them, the Seattle Mariners. It's going to be a good one. The series kicking off tonight. Fun baseball story. Yesterday, we were talking about Nathan Lucas, the Toronto Blue Jay player who had that great homer in the win the other night. And then we had the Victoria Harbour Cats contact us to say, hey, just a reminder, he, of course, was a Harbour Cat. Nathan Lucas now with the Blue Jays. Well, then later that day, yesterday, the Victoria Harbour Cats celebrated another major developmental victory as hard-throwing right-handed reliever Nathan Mueller officially signed a professional contract with the Milwaukee Brewers. So another Harbour Cat doing good there, just to mention that. Some hockey news. Victoria Royals are hitting the ice today to begin their training camp. Fans will get a chance to look at some of the new acquisitions like Dallas Stars prospect and defending WHL goal champion Cameron Schmidt, who joined Victoria via blockbuster trade deal after racking up 51 goals and 100 points last season. And also newly acquired veteran forward Savin Verk in the camp. You'll see him today after a recent trade with the Tri-City Americans. It's at the Save on Food Center. It's starting around 10 o'clock, and they're doing the thing where they split the squad into a couple of teams that'll face each other in a little tournament. Victoria sports aside, a couple of other hockey things. Connor Hellebuck, the NHL's Hart Trophy winner in 2025, three-time Vezina Trophy winner, has now publicly asked for a trade from the Winnipeg Jets. He wants to leave. Hellebuck, an American, said he privately asked to be traded several months ago in a statement posted on his agent's X account, and the goaltender said that he wanted back then to give the organization time to address his request quietly and respectfully, but now he's decided to go public as training camp nears. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 8:09. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 8:10 here on a Friday morning. I got a text message here at 7:10:10 saying, wow, did you see the lunar eclipse last night? Funny, I haven't heard anything about it. Well, yes, there was a lunar eclipse last night. It peaked around 9:12 last night. I happened to be going outside at that time, looked up, and yeah, it was remarkable. What a spectacular sight. And for, the weather's been a bit cloudy at times this week, but yesterday it just cleared up at the right time. Got a great view of it.
Did everything get really quiet as it usually does with an eclipse? Or was it? It's kind of strange when that happens, like, especially if it's the daytime, everything gets quiet. The birds don't know what to do. Everyone hunkers down and, waits for the sky to fall.
Yeah. But if you saw it, for sure, the lunar eclipse last night was spectacular. Thank you for texting to mention that. And yeah, you weren't imagining things. If you didn't know what was going on, you were like, why does the moon look different?
Darker.
It was a thing. It happened.
It's a thing.
What else is going on in the weather? Well, we will be clouding over today. Luckily, the lunar eclipse happened last night because the clouds were rolling in a little later this afternoon. Well, I see a high of 21, a bit of wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Tonight, mainly cloudy, lows to 11. Tomorrow, mixes in a cloud for our Saturday, highs of 18. Sunday looks like it's a bit cloudier, highs of 18. Mix of sun and cloud for Monday to kick off next week with a chance of showers coming in Tuesday night. And right now, as we start to warm up into the day, in Langford, we're looking at 15 degrees. In Oak Bay by the water, it's 16 now. On the markets, S&P TSX down 124 points to 36,709. The Dow is up 168 to 53,737. NASDAQ up 133 to 26,674. And the Canadian dollar at 72 cents US even, which is down a bit from yesterday's close.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, if you missed it, we did the Mega Summer 50-50 raffle draw earlier on the program, and it was so exciting.
It was.
Because we brought in from Virgin Radio, 107.3 Virgin Radio's Johnny Novak, and we broadcast the moment on both stations, as well as CTV Vancouver Island on our TV feed. So all three of our stations here who have been a part of this, who have joined together to do this Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50, we all got together and at the same time broadcast the winning call. Do you want to, for those who missed it, do you want to hear it?
Oh, of course we do.
This is what it sounded like.
People are asking.
Dial tone. It's a good start.
All right, let's
Here we
go. Otherwise, it's so intense.
Okay, pick up.
So nerve-wracking.
It really is.
You and Johnny. He let it ring a couple times, too. We were worried.
Come on, pick up.
Hello?
Hello, is this Patrick?
Yes, it is.
Patrick, it's Ryan Price from CFAX 1070. I'm Johnny Novak from 107.3 Virgin Radio. And we're calling about your shopping history over the last couple of weeks. Have you bought a 50-50 ticket?
Yes, I have.
Well, we're happy to inform you that you have won $25,000.
You're a winner of the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 jackpot.
Excellent, thank you.
Patrick, this is huge news. So, when did you buy your ticket?
I don't remember.
He's a little lost for
It's
words.
all just blacked out, I think, for Patrick.
Patrick, what area of town do you live in? Where do we find you?
In Victoria.
Victoria.
You're here in Victoria, you bought a raffle ticket, and you've just won $25,000. I got to ask you, how are you feeling right now?
Super.
Patrick, where did we catch you right now? Who's in the background?
I just got up. You just woke me up.
Oh, that's a good wake up, isn't it?
Great alarm clock.
Oh, definitely.
There it is. That's what it sounded like an hour ago when we made the call and gave away $25,000, which is half of the $50,000 jackpot. I loved Patrick and his reaction and the fact that he just woke up as we woke him up with that news.
Right. And the fact that Patrick admitted to us that he's in the middle of home renovations.
Yeah, he said that a little later.
I
Yeah.
mean, what a perfect time to come into a windfall of cash.
So good.
You know, paying it forward. So hopefully we're gonna meet with them. We're gonna take some photos, make it all official like. Christine is figuring that out with Patrick. But if you didn't win, know that it did go local, and half of it's going to families in need, which is fantastic too. So it's a win-win all around.
I want to echo that statement. It is such a cool thing that you did, even if you didn't win. By buying the raffle ticket, you're helping out so many children around Greater Victoria through CFAX Santa's Anonymous and the Kids Count program. So congratulations, everybody. What a wonderful summer this has been. I have really enjoyed this, and it was so great to give away that money earlier today. We'll just have to do it again one day.
I think so, because I was really getting used to putting it up in the CTV headlines every day and changing the dollar amount and getting excited every time it went up.
And then today you didn't have that.
I feel lost a little. So we need to bring it back.
Let's bring it back for Lisa. Let's do it.
Well, for everyone.
For everybody. 8:16, let's get to the headlines. What's going on in the news, Lisa?
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney firing back as usual in a diplomatic fashion, pointing out that the history of the Indigenous name Ontario in response to President Trump's efforts to rename Lake Ontario and Lake America, which he did yesterday, at least in the U.S. He wrote on X that the name comes from the Wendat word that means the lake is beautiful, the lake is big. Prime Minister Carney added that that name has been in use for 400 years, more than 400 years, which predates the U.S. Declaration of Independence and the Canadian Confederation. Moving forward, the BC Assembly of First Nations Regional Chief Terry Tichy says a petition launched by the BC Conservative legislator to repeal DRIPA is, quote, racist rhetoric. Tichy's comments come after the Conservative MLA Harman Bangu launched the petition saying the Indigenous law threatens private property rights. The legislation is designed to affirm the application of the UN's recognition of Indigenous rights into BC's law, and it's become a flashpoint for opposition critics. TG says First Nations have said DRIPA does not affect private property rights and calls the petition fear-mongering, urging people not to sign it. The International Monetary Fund estimates that removing international trade barriers, internal trade barriers, that is, within Canada, could boost Canada's real gross domestic products upwards of 7%, or about $210 billion over the long term. Although CIBC puts out a less optimistic figure in March of a potential 1% boost to the GDP, noting it would still be helpful and worth pursuing. Federal and provincial ministers have been meeting in Iqaluit this week to try to advance a single Canadian economy and work on removing those barriers. That is your news to 8:18.
Do you know what, Lisa?
What?
Do you know what we haven't done in a while?
Yes.
Do you know what we should do right now?
Go ahead.
Get sports guy Steve here.
100%.
For a bit of a take on sports.
Well, there's stuff going on.
Sports guy Steve is next. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by QP Vancouver Island, working to deliver the public services island communities rely on. QP, better services, better communities. Over to the traffic and weather. Well, let's start with BC Ferries. It's been a very busy day, and we do have a one sail wait yet again. 9 o'clock sailing is full from Swartz Bay to Swanson as predicted. The 10 o'clock's next, but it's almost 90% full. Very busy day. A lot of reservations on the Swartz Bay to Swanson route throughout the late morning and early afternoon here. To the roads, no crashes, no accidents, no major issues like that. We do have some construction coming to Cook Street, just south of Hillside. It's actually Hillside south to Kings. The southbound lane will be closed starting at 9 this morning and going through the day for some electrical work. In the weather forecast, starting off with a mix of sun and cloud, but growing more and more cloudy as the day goes on. Highs of 21. Little wind off the Wandafuka Strait, too, making it feel cooler if you're by the windy water. Overnight lows and a mix of sun and cloud tonight. Or sorry, I should say a mix of dark and cloud tonight with lows going down to 11. Right now, it is 16 degrees.
The windup in his first offering. Touch them all, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
Sports Guy Steve is here. Steve, how you doing?
I'm kind of upset. It's been a long time since I've been able to talk sports with you, Ryan.
We were just saying there was still a FIFA.
Don't be petulant.
There was a FIFA World Cup soccer game going on back last time we chatted about Sports Guy Steve stuff.
I know. I'm suffering withdrawals, not being part of the morning show.
That's
Sorry.
a fat bottom lip.
But we got you back. We're coming back to it. We're doing it again, and just in time because we have so much to talk about. I was mentioning earlier today, because we've been talking about the Victoria Royals in our sportscast, because, of course, they're beginning their training camp today, which is really exciting, but also a sad sign that we're getting closer to the end of summer when we start having hockey games going on at the Save On Foods Memorial Center. But it is still very exciting that we're into the training camp now. And this is exciting for a lot of reasons, Steve, because we got some new players to see. The team has been rebuilding with different trades. And, of course, we've got to find a way to get back to some winning with the Victoria Royals. So let's set this up. What's going on today, and what are you thinking about?
So first of all, they're doing like an in-house tournament all weekend. So the Save On Food Center will be busy with 4 games a day, both today and Saturday, and then they're doing sort of a final on Sunday with a game at 10 and a game at 11:30. So from a Royals fans perspective, that's kind of neat. Next weekend is even more exciting for me because they're playing preseason games at Save On Foods. And they're bringing an Ontario Hockey League team to town to do that. And it's the London Knights. My childhood team is coming to Victoria for 2 games next Friday and Saturday. The Knights are one of the most successful franchises in the OHL and in junior hockey generally. And the blueprint that the Knights have put in place is what the Royals are trying to do.
Ooh, what's that blueprint?
Well, Joey, who is the general manager, I can never do his last name properly, of the Royals, came from the Knights organization. So he's trying to put a thing in place where they're, steadily competitive and that you load up when you have an opportunity to go for it. This is that year for the Royals because after all that went on last year with losing Cole Rushney and Keaton Verhoff because of the change in the NCAA regulations, they would have had a much better team than it turned out to be. But some of their players are now, you want your players, your 18-year-old players now have to be the guys as opposed to your 19-year-olds. Because after their 18-year, they go play college hockey now because they can make some do-re-mi. So there's a couple of players that are very key for the Royals that are in that age group, including Ludwig Pearl in particular, that you can find to build around, and they've filled in nicely because one of the biggest problems they had last year is scoring. They're not going to have a hard time scoring this year because they've added Cameron Schmidt, who scores 50 goals in this league before with Vancouver and Seattle. And then they added Vert last week from Tri-Cities, who was their leading scorer. So they've added a lot of offense. They're a little short on defense, but I'm very excited about the possibilities because the team is poised to win this year.
Okay, you think we could do it?
They're poised. A lot of stuff can happen. I'm a little worried about the back end.
Right, okay.
But on paper, they're one of the top 5 teams in this league.
I think that's really interesting what you talked about. And you and I have talked about this before. The WHL in general, we're not even just talking about the Victoria Royals, but all of these WHL teams are faced with this challenge because of those college hockey rules that you explained, where now you get all of the good players going off to make big money in the United States instead of sticking around with these WHL teams. But an interesting philosophy. You got to make sure your good players are the young players. Do you think that's what we're seeing here?
Yeah, exactly. And when they're at their, you can't count on them being here for 19, so you have to build your team to 18.
Interesting.
And it used to be different than that.
Yeah, it's a whole different way to, and I guess it's going to take it. Maybe it's not a surprise that it's taking a couple of years for these teams to figure out what that new strategy is, and we're seeing the Royals kind of come up with theirs here. But yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment period for sure.
Absolutely, and there's some really interesting names. The Royals have changed their strategy a little bit around who they're bringing in from the import draft, like the players from Europe, and it looks like they brought in 3 good ones, and that will be one of the determining factors, how good they are this season, if those guys pan out, because the last couple of times it hasn't panned out the way the Royals would have liked.
Well, we're talking hockey with Sports Guy Steve. Again, if you want to check it out at the Save On Foods Memorial Center, training camp for the Royals beginning today at 10 o'clock and going this weekend, and a lot of activities going to start to pick up from here. One last thing, we got a minute left, Steve, but I wanted to check in on something else you did recently. The WNBA, which has really gained in popularity, and there's a lot of great characters emerging out of this league. Here, in BC, we don't see it that much because the only Canadian team we've got is, of course, in Toronto, but they played in Vancouver recently, and you got to go see that, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, my daughter and I went. My daughter's a season ticket holder for the Tempo, so she's right into it. And for me, it was very interesting to see the crowd reaction, who the people that attended that game were, and all those kind of things. And what I would say is there is a market for women's basketball that I didn't understand until Sunday. So Sunday, the Las Vegas Aces, who are one of the perennial superpowers of the WNBA, were in town, and Asia Wilson, who is the MVP over and over again of the league, is the key player for the Aces. 15,000 people showed up for that game in Vancouver, a city that doesn't have a team, and I would say a good 70 to 80% were women between the ages of 18 and 40. And they were partially there to see the Temple, but they were partially there to see Asia because they wanted that opportunity.
They want to see the star.
They wanted to see her play. And she got applause. And, it wasn't like, oh, you're on the other team. No, it was an appreciation for who she was as a basketball player.
That's cool.
And I found that, and she was so smooth in her movement, and it was like she knows how to play. But the beauty of it was on Friday night, it was more of a family thing. So they played Portland on the Friday night, and the whole family was there. It just goes to show you there's 2 audiences for the WNBA. There's the diehards, and there's also a family audience that's looking for affordable entertainment. And the atmosphere in the building was just like it is for the Golden Eyes when they play women's hockey professionally, as opposed to what it is like the Canucks, where everybody's waiting for something bad to happen. It's very different. It's a very more party, sing-along kind of experience.
It's cool to see women's sports getting to this level as well. It's just a wonderful thing to celebrate. And Sports Guy Steve is doing that. He was there at the game in Vancouver, the WNBA game that we hosted. Thanks for reporting back. But we got to let you go because we're out of time. But you're just back on the radio a little later this afternoon, bringing us the sports and the news and all the rest of it. So we'll be hearing you then, Steve.
Don't take so long to call next time, Ryan. You know I love you.
Let's do this again next week. Maybe you can tell us about how the Royals are shaping up.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's do it again soon. Oh, you got to take a break. 8:30 News is next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria, an iHeartRadio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News Now.
Good morning. It is 8:32 on this Friday, August 28th. The clouds rolling in today. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. But right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
If you pay rent, you should know that the province has set the annual allowable rent increase at 2.2% for the coming year. Last year, the increase was 2.3%, so down a smidge. This is the seventh consecutive year where the maximum allowable increase has been capped at or below inflation. The rent increase takes effect on New Year's Day. Landlords are required to give renters a minimum of 3 months' notice and can only increase rent once a year. Housing and Municipal Affairs Minister Christine Boyle says due to the government's work to increase housing supply, crack down on illegal short-term rentals, and limit foreign investment in the housing market, BC has seen a 4.5% decrease in overall average rents, though you may not feel it month to month. BC health officials say vaccination misinformation promoted by the U.S. officials is stoking unnecessary fears about vaccines proven to work. Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry holding a press conference yesterday saying recent U.S. executive orders that recommend splitting the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine is distressing and ignores the evidence about its safety. Both Canada and the U.S. have seen increases in measles cases both last year and this, including a cluster of cases in northeastern BC last June. Pennsylvania, 2 people recently died after contracting measles. Dr. Henry says the majority of measles cases in the past year have been recorded in communities where vaccination rates have been dropping off. Summer travel puts kids at risk of exposure, and many children starting school for the first time in BC are due for booster vaccines. The BC Conservatives did not get through a full day without a resignation this week. Abbotsford South MLA Bruce Banman's one-time leadership candidate says he's now leaving caucus to sit as an independent. Banman said that numerous people have informed him that the new leader, Carrie Lynn Finlay, is unelectable. This as she vies for a seat. He adds the Conservative tent needs to get bigger, not smaller. It's been 6 months since the start of the war in Iran, the war that was supposed to last for weeks, and there's been no movement or agreement on the nuclear program in that country. The U.S. has struck nuclear targets in Iran. The Pentagon claims it has crippled their ability to continue the nuclear program, but the Iranians have remained defiant and have been attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
It's been 6 months since the U.S. and Israel launched massive strikes against Iran, wiping out its conventional military and killing more than 3,600 Iranians, according to human rights activists in Iran, including 165 people after an elementary school was struck, most of them children. All of this loss in a war the president said would be over in a matter of weeks.
New fallout from that controversial golf ad that critics say depicts violence against women, and I watched it and I would agree with that. Part of the ad promoting the golf company Callaway and YouTube golf channel Good Good shows Good Good co-founder Garrett Clark shoving a female golfer to the ground when she pulls out a golf club. In the ad, he looms over her and says, "Do not touch my new driver." Clark, in an online post, looks back at it now. He says the concept was, quote, super dumb. The execution, he said, made his skin crawl.
The backlash was instant. Critics saying it depicted violence against women, and the ad was pulled. Clark says it was a scripted skit, spoofing the horror movie Obsession, with players being possessed by an evil golf club.
It didn't hit the target. Callaway, which acknowledges that it greenlighted the ad, cut ties with Good Good, now promising to donate millions of dollars to groups working to prevent violence against women. And AMC Theaters launching a special silver screen tribute to country music legend Dolly Parton.
Through September 2nd, roughly 200 locations nationwide will host 2 daily matinee screenings of her classics, Steel Magnolias.
There's so much static electricity in this room, I pick up everything but boys and money.
And The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Sneaking around with you.
Parton passed away at the age of 80 following a brief and private battle with cancer. I'm Jennifer Polsoni.
That's your news to 8:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, how much do you use AI to generate general questions or answers for yourself? 20% say often, 42% say rarely, 38% never. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:38.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited. It's Friday, which means we're going to get our Friday food vibes on in just a moment.
Starving.
Dallas with the Vic Food Guy is going to tell us about some of the great things he's been eating locally and some events that might be happening this weekend when it comes to our wonderful food and restaurant scene around Victoria.
Including Greek Fest, which you're going to.
Oh, I'm going to be at Greek Fest later today. And that kicks off this weekend. It's one of the many things going on, so we're going to talk all about it in just a moment. But first, we got a lot of exciting sports to talk about as well. We were just talking to sports guy Steve. He was letting us know about the Victoria Royals. They're hitting the ice today for their training camp. This is the beginning of it. At 10 o'clock, Save on Foods Memorial Centre. They're splitting the team into a couple of squads. They're doing a bit of a tournament. That's today. They're going to be doing it again tomorrow as well. So lots of activity at the Save on Foods Centre. It'll be a chance for fans to see some of the new acquisitions, some of the new firepower the team has been gaining, like the fact that we've got Dallas Stars prospect and defending WHL gold champion Cameron Schmidt, who has joined Victoria after a big trade. He racked up 51 goals, 100 points last season. We've also got newly acquired veteran forward Savin Verk in the camp after a recent trade with the Tri-City Americans. And for another cool local sporting bit of news, this is in baseball. Victoria Harbour Cats celebrating a major developmental victory as hard-throwing right-handed reliever Nathan Mueller yesterday was officially signed to a professional contract with the Milwaukee Brewers. So seeing another of the Victoria Harbour Cats players moving up in the world. For the Toronto Blue Jays, it was a loss last night that the fans weren't happy about, blown up by the Kansas City Royals, 13-2. Fans started to voice their frustration during what was a 6-run sixth inning. Perhaps the most notable boos were aimed at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when he came up to the plate after that.
Guerrero with a ground ball to second for the second out. And you can hear it at home, so there's no point in us pretending it's not happening. More booing tonight here at Rogers Centre.
That was the call from Sportsnet. With 28 games left on the season, Vladdy still hasn't hit a home run at Rogers Centre this year. The Jays now 3.5 games back of a wild card playoff spot. They're starting a series against the Seattle Mariners tonight, though. For fans in Victoria of the Jays or the Mariners, you got them both. That's your CFAX Sports to 8:40. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps for a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort. South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Still fairly clear on the roads. I don't have any crashes to report. If you see something, you can text me at 71010. We will have road work starting in about 20 minutes on Cook Street, Hillside South to Kings. They will have a southbound closure, fully southbound closed, for the rest of the day for some electrical work. It's open at the moment, though. It's 9 o'clock that's going to begin. Busy day at BC Ferries, Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. The 9 o'clock is full. It's the 10 you're waiting for if you don't have a reservation from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And it's 95% full, so we're close to another sailing wait at BC Ferries. Here's your weekend weather forecast. Mainly sunny to start this Friday, but we're clouding over today. Highs up to 21 degrees. It's going to be breezy by the Wanda-Fuca Strait, making it feel a bit cooler if that's where you're located. Tonight, lows down to 11. Then tomorrow, our Saturdays, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 18. A little cloudy for Sunday, high of 18. But no mention of showers until maybe Tuesday night. That's where that enters our forecast. But we're dry, just cloudy here and there for the next few days. Temperature-wise, We're 16 degrees.
Come on, let's go. Friday food vibes.
You ever think about what we put into our mouths?
All the time.
You are cooking
on CFAX 1070.
It's Dallas from the Vic Food Guys joining us to get our Friday food vibes on. Dallas, how you doing?
Doing great. It's time to talk food. It's interesting when we start these things. I never know. I think I've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
What's going to be happening here? Am I awake? Today, I still don't know if I'm awake, but we're going to get into this.
I think you could talk food in your sleep, Dallas. Really.
I like the suspense that has been created. Will Dallas wake up? You'll have to listen to find out.
I do have a coffee right now, so
that's good.
I should have started it earlier, I think. Yeah.
All right. Be brave.
Yeah. For the first little bit here, I just wanted to touch on that Fireside has their new tasting menu in effect.
Okay.
I've talked about these things before. They seem to change them up about every 2 to 3 months. I've been to 4 of them now over the last year. I've tried every single one they've done. Right. These things cost $79 a person, so less than $80. Minimum 2 people, but you get 7 courses, and it takes a couple hours to go through, a couple hours, maybe like 2.5 hours. So value-wise, it's a tremendous proposition for anybody that likes like a tasting menu. You do have to reserve these things 24 hours in advance, same as it's always been. This one, they used to have multiple pairings available, but this one they only have a wine pairing because I don't think enough people were doing like a fresh pressed juice pairing, for example, last time. But not that many people ordered it, and it's all made to order. So it was like a lot of pressure when someone actually did order it. Now they have to come up with the stuff, I think. So they're just doing the wine pairing this time, but it's 7 courses. And I'm just going to do kind of a quick rundown because I went and had this thing on Saturday, and it just every time I have one of these, I'm mesmerized by, if that's a good word, but I'm mesmerized by the fact that like they all have their own unique identity. Sometimes there is some overlap on items, but they always change something about it, and they make it its own. Just really cool stuff. And again, it's at Fireside.
Okay, give us the rundown. What did they feed you?
Yeah, so we start off with bread and butter, and they've done this on all 4 of the ones I've had, but they've all been different. They bring out this custard done like a creme brulee where you got to crack through the top. And actually, this one, it actually gave me a bit of a workout to crack through. So that was fun. The thing with creme brulee is you want to have it be satisfying, right? When you make that crack.
Yes.
So it's a black garlic miso custard in there.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Black garlic miso custard?
Yes.
So it's not a dessert.
Yeah, super rich.
This is a savory item.
Okay.
This is us starting the proposition.
Right.
So they had a scallion milk bun, which it was basically like a mini cinnamon bun, but it was brioche and croissant sort of mixed together. So you pull that thing apart, you put the custard on it. Just a phenomenal way to start the whole thing.
Wow.
So you get that. Up next, they got some salmon belly tartare. The cool thing about this, and the first thing I clued into, of course, if you took a bite without the garnish, the coriander in the dish made it taste like Fruit Loops, which I wasn't expecting, but it was really cool. The dish was super vibrant, and I say that as a compliment. I really enjoyed this one. Up next was a celery dish, and I don't know how you get people excited about celery, but as soon as I started eating this, I started getting excited about it, which I thought was really interesting. They had a roasted celery bechamel that was inside a celery stalk for part of this, and that bechamel, to me, was the highlight of the dish. Really cool. Then we started getting into more of the mains. Up next, we had the pork belly, which was cooked perfectly, crunchy on the outside, tender on the inside. It wasn't too rich over the top. There was a really a real nice spiced carrot puree that was on the plate as well. The pork belly was great. Then you get a palate cleanser that comes into play using grapes off the property. So that resets you. Then you got a steak, a grilled steak that you get to have with a little pave, a cabbage pave with it, which is, I guess the word pave is cobblestone in French. But this is essentially little thinly sliced squares of cabbage. They're all sort of compressed, so you can flake them off with your fork as you're going through.
Okay.
Really, really cool. Yeah, they did it with the beef last time, but this time they did it with the cabbage. When you combine all the elements of that dish together, of that dish. It was like the most complete bite you could have. Like it had all the flavors, all the textures, everything you could hope for in a dish or in a bite. And then up last was the s'more dish, which they did a year ago, and they brought back by popular demand because people loved it so much. They bring it out. It smells like campfire because they have a little thing that burns. So you get this, your nose picks up campfire. You see a s'more-looking thing, but it's not a marshmallow. It's actually ice cream. It looks wild. And of course, like, I'm a dessert guy, right? So, like, when I finished on that, I was just flying high, happy as could be when I left the place. But this time they did add some mezcal raspberry little dollops on the plate to sort of round out the flavor versus the first time they'd done it a year ago. Just across the board, unreal value when you look at all of what you got here for the price point. Just unreal stuff. So if anyone wants to experience this menu, you have to call them at least 24 hours in advance and reserve it. You can't just walk in and have it because they need time to prepare everything. So that is, to me, one of the most hidden gem things in the city, even though Fireside is not a hidden gem in and of itself, I think.
But the fact that they got this tasting menu, they got it refreshed, 7 courses, $79 per person, minimum 2 people. Thank you for the review. We've done it again. But Dallas, you got so much more to talk about, so we're going to take our break here. When we get back, more things coming up this weekend people might want to check out. So let's do that in just a second, right after we get to the news with Lisa. What's in the news, Lisa?
Thanks, Ryan. A new poll finds a perception we have on the Canadian police force, the National Police Force, has become more positive over the past 3 years. 70% of Canadians say they have confidence in the internal operations and leadership of the RCMP. That's up 6 points since a similar research poll was conducted 3 years ago. 66% say they have faith in their municipal police force. The rating is lower, 57% for provincial criminal courts. Survey also asked Canadians to state whether police officers who operate in the country possess 5 characteristics. Among them, they say 70% of police officers are approachable, 66% say they can be trusted. Slightly fewer think that police officers treat every person fairly. That dropped to 54%. Only 49% of Canadians 18 to 34 regard police officers as a source of pride. The proportions are higher for those 35 to 54 at 56% and 70% for people 55 and older. StatsCan says our economy grew at its fastest pace in more than 3 years, and the second quarter as exports and business capital investments ramped up. The agency says real gross domestic product rose 3.3% in the second quarter on an annualized basis, while GDP was also up 0.3% in June. StatsCan says exports surged last quarter in part because auto production reaccelerated after faltering off in the past previous 6 months. And Dolly Parton's music seeing a massive upsurge in streaming following her death on Tuesday. Industry data company Luminate says U.S. audio and video streams of her catalog jumped more than 2,100% that day. Streams climbed to 1.2 million Monday and 26.3 million Tuesday. Worldwide, Dolly Parton streams rose over 1,200, almost 1,300, reaching 35 million. Jolene, 9 to 5, led the surge, followed by Islands in the Stream and I Will Always Love You. That's your news to 8:52.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe Magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX traffic and weather. We have no major crashes on the roads. We do have a one sail wait at BC Ferry, Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. 9 o'clock is full. Actually, wait, it's a two sail wait now, both 9 and 10 full. The 11 o'clock is your next vessel with available vehicle space from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And in the weather forecast, we have some clouds rolling in. It'll cloud over this afternoon. Highs of 21 degrees expected. Cooler by the windy one if you can straight. And right now it is 16 degrees.
Eat it. Just eat it. Come on then, let's go.
Friday food vibes.
You ever think about what we put into our mouths?
All the time.
You are cooking.
On CFAX 1070.
We're in the middle of our chat with Dallas with the Vic Food Guys. There's so much going on this weekend and so little time, Dallas. So let's just dive right in. What are you recommending we check out this weekend?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff here, and I'll try and slow down. That first segment, I was trying to rip through all that, so
it's all good.
I'll take a breather here. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is the 25th annual Feast of Fields is happening on Sunday, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. at Heritage Acres in Saanishton. This event celebrates the connections between farmers and chefs. It's actually the one food event that I've never been to that I really want to go to. The general admission tickets are sold out at this point, but there still are VIP tickets left. So there's a few of those left if someone does want to go on Sunday. And that VIP ticket will get you in actually an hour earlier. So you get 4 hours in the event. But there's tents set up. You just walk up. All your food's included in the price. So you just be good to go. You pay your fee and get there and just enjoy yourself. I haven't been there, so I can't speak exactly on the vibe and how it is, but through the pictures I've seen, it looks like just a real meaningful event to attend.
Yeah, we were speaking to the organizers earlier this week, and they were mentioning just the connection between bringing local farmers and their food together with chefs, doing it all at such a cool spot at the Heritage Acres in Saanishton on Sunday. And then just to further up the peninsula at Sydney Scones. What do they got going on there?
Yeah, so this one, there's a person named Jamie Harkin who's an influencer on Instagram. And so, I've known Chelsea for a long time at Sydney Scones. She's just so incredibly nice. And Jamie had stopped by at one point, I think last year, and sort of put a shout out and gave Chelsea a shout out at Sydney Scones, which drove a bunch of business to the shop in Sydney on 3rd Street there. And so now there's essentially a collab between Chelsea and Jamie happening tomorrow. So if there's any fans of Jamie Harkin that wants to meet Jamie, there's a meet and greet happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Chelsea's shop at Sydney Scones. One of the cool things, too, is that Chelsea's going to be doing a bunch of scones inspired by different provinces throughout Canada. So, if you want to meet Jamie, you can go do that. Or if you're just a huge fan of Chelsea's scones, you can go and try these province-inspired scones. So cool stuff all around tomorrow at 10 a.m.
And then at Greek Fest, of course, I'm going today. It's the opening day. I'll be there at 3 to 5, Dallas.
Oh, there you go. So, it's happening today through Sunday, and then also next weekend as well, all 3 days at the Commonwealth Place on Elk Lake Drive there. Free admission. They're flying people in from Greece for the performances. All types of Greek cuisine. A whole bunch of stuff going to be happening there. That's awesome. You're going to be there, Ryan. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. What should I eat? Tell me what would you pick if you were going?
If I have Greek food, I always opt for the roast lamb. That just kind of is my default.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or spadaka pita. Maybe get a little bit of each.
I'll do it and think of you.
We have. That's on that. I don't know if you need to think of me. That might be. I might bring the experience down a little bit, But you're going to have a good time. And then we have the 26th annual VNCS Japanese Cultural Fair happening on Saturday, tomorrow, from 9:45 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Esquimalt Gorge Park and Pavilion. Admission by donation, lots of performances, food, a tea ceremony. It's happening tomorrow.
Check it out. There's Dallas and the Vic Food Guys. We'll talk again next week.
For sure. Thank you.
And that's it for us. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll talk again on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend.
CFAX Victoria, an iHeart radio station.
CFAX 1070, Island News.